think we are live. Welcome back, everybody. It's probably pretty middle of the night for a lot of the Aussies, but doing a little bit of a test stream. Lots changed on YouTube with streaming and OBS and things like that, and a lot of my old stuff is out of date, and I've had to switch some things around. I've got a whole new OBS, so all my settings are gone. I had to redo everything. So yeah, we're kind of just doing a little bit of a test stream. I wanted to chat with anybody who decides to jump in. Kind of talk about the channel, some changes, some maybe you guys got some ideas, we can help each other out. But yeah, so I just wanted to get on here. It's been a little bit since we've streamed. Just making sure we got everything good to go. Let's check some stuff. Bop, a bing, a bop, a boom. Like it's working. Let's double check. Nice. All right, we're working. Sweet. All right, all right, all right. Cool beans. Let's go tell everybody on Discord. Tunage playing for you guys. Not dropping any frames, so that's good. Oh, but it is private, so I am talking to myself. Let's try this again. All right. Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are live. We are no longer private, so people can actually see what I'm doing now. That's good. Just let people know. New setup. And then we will cool. All right, we got everything I think set up properly. So, thanks everybody who decides to stop by. Hoping to have a chat with some people. Maybe we'll see some familiar faces. Maybe not. Maybe nobody will show up. That's fine too. It's expected. I want to chat about some of the stuff with the channel, some future things. And sorry, one sec. And just maybe some ideas on where to go from here. So we'll see if anybody pops in, any familiar faces pop in that we can have a chat, and we'll kind of go from there. I kind of want to start I don't want to say rebranding, but kind of revitalizing the channel, if you will. So that's kind of a plan here in the foreseeable future, or I guess right now even. I'm gonna change up some of the branding, things like that. Maybe get a little bit away from some of the reaction stuff, but maybe get back into it a little bit as well. I tell you what, I miss you guys. You know what I'm saying? I miss the community. I miss everybody. I started a second YouTube channel called Red Meat for Dinner, where I'm going to start posting more of my carnivore diet stuff, because I've been on the carnivore diet now for 6 months. It's radically changed my health for the better, and I wanted to at least document some of that. I posted a little bit on this channel, but you know, just given how random a lot of my videos have been in the last, or I shouldn't say the last few years, but the last 20 videos that I put out have been kind of all over the place, and they haven't done very well. And I think I'm just starting to kind of confuse my audience. So I want to kind of solidify things. I started that second channel, Red Meat for Dinner, where I'll do all of my carnivore stuff, live streams on meat prepping, that kind of thing. I also started a Kick channel for live streaming. I've done a few live streams on that. That's kind of where, you know, we'll do gaming, things like that if we want to get into that. I haven't decided if I want to get back into Twitch or Kick. I'm kind of interested in pursuing the Kick route, just because it is, you know, a newer thing. It's a new platform. There maybe is some potential getting in there in that space. It's less saturated, so we'll kind of see if that works out. But, you know, we're here back on the YouTube channel, the established channel, and I think you know, I don't want to let it go. You know, I spent a lot of time and effort and you know, kind of building it up to where it is now, and I don't want to just kind of throw that to the wayside, because it is really hard to build up a YouTube channel from scratch. So we're kind of figuring that out, and this is, you know, what I wanted to talk to people about. If there is anybody watching, maybe gives me some tips and tricks on or ideas on what you would like to see on this channel. I mean, where do we want to go from here? You know, is this channel just kind of pigeonholed into solely reaction content, or is this something that we can, you know, start making it a little more broad and start putting another video? I'm looking for ideas from the community, what you guys want to see, what's going to get you guys engaged, and overall just kind of where to go from here. The last couple of years have been a real struggle with the YouTube channel, in the sense of, you know, I don't really know where to go from here, right? I watched most of the Australian sports, and it got kind of unauthentic reacting to stuff, just because it's like, hey, I've seen all this. You know, at this point, I'm kind of a fan of the AFL and the NRL and things like that, and so it became hard to do reaction videos. So long-winded way to say, you know, what if you guys have any ideas on things you'd like to see on the channel, types of videos. You know, I've even considered maybe doing some vlogging stuff out and about. We would have to kind of work on getting some equipment and things like that for the future to do that, but yeah, just overall want to get back into the swing of things. It's been a long time since I've been live on this main channel here, and you know, I know it's probably not the best time of day for most of my audience. Most of my audience is Australian or from other parts of the world. I should say, actually, we can look. I should see let's look at where my audience mostly is from. We'll go lifetime, and I'll show this to you in a second here. Okay, so let's get this zoomed in a little bit, and we'll kind of move this over. Let's see if you can see this. Okay, so you see here, there's this top geographies. This is overall the life of my channel. Almost 39% of my audience comes from Australia. 12% comes from the UK. I got a lot of Indian fans, surprisingly. I mean, I think 7% isn't a lot, but it is a lot, you know, for being I'm an American in India. I got a lot of Indian people, and that was all the cricket videos. I love the cricket videos. India is very harsh on their copyright stuff, though. That is interesting to know. And then only 5% from the US. And then we got Sweden as well. So this is interesting here, how you can look at the where people are watching from. Most of my views are 1.6 million from Australia. So thank you to all the Aussies, Aussie, and good on you. So I appreciate it. Looks like the Aussies watch the most too. Brazil, they're on the watch time. But So most of these guys that are on here, except for the U.S., where it's in the middle of the night right now. So I do apologize. You know, maybe we can do a little stream later too, and where you guys are awake and maybe not working, that kind of stuff. But I had some time here today, and I wanted to at least jump on and play around with some things and talk and yeah, just get back into saying hello. So just minimize this one. Alrighty. Let's listen to tunage with you guys. Cool. Also, if there is anybody that ends up watching this or is watching it now or watches it on the replay, I might maybe make some videos out of this. I'm not sure yet, but I am interested in some like official branding. You know, all my stuff has kind of been on my own. I'm not the greatest at branding. You know, I'm pretty fluent on Canva, but I'm not the most like, it's not my forte, right? The graphic design stuff. So, you know, if there's anybody out there who's got some good deals on some branding stuff, you know, I'm just looking for like a logo, maybe a banner or something like that, something consistent I can put across my channels. So if that's a thing that anybody is good at, please let me know. Also, let's look at when the Australian sports are coming up. I forget. You know, if all my Aussie friends weren't sleeping right now, I'd be able to ask them, but let's see. All right. That's not it. Where's the fixture? So March 7th, coming up. So we got the AFL starting soon. So maybe we'll get back into that a little bit. I haven't watched an AFL game in a long time. You know, it is tough because of how like late in the day or in the morning. It's like, you know, 3 in the morning for me. And my sleep schedule is actually normal now, but I do miss watching some of the AFL. Let's look at when the NRL kicks back off. A little while. Let me see. They call it a draw. Okay, so the first game here is in the end of February. Okay, so the NRL starts in 5 days. The Rabitos versus the Roosters. All right, I like it. Okay, I mean, maybe we can start talking about that again. It's been a good while since we watched any rugby. And what about the BBL cricket? When does that get going? Doesn't say. Yes. Goes from December to early February. Okay, so is it going on right now? Oh, it must have just ended. No? Hold on. Am I missing something? December, January. So did the Brisbane Heat win? Humana. Actually, I can show you guys what I'm looking at here in a second. Alright. I wonder if I can pop this up. There we go. Let's see if I can't fix this. That'll work. All right, so I'm guessing this is the final game here. So let's see. What? Yeah, I'm guessing it's PBL's not for a while again. Okay. Man, I used to have this all memorized and I forgot. So, Big Bash League isn't for a long time. But we got the NRL coming up here in a few days. Looks like it's on Friday. Yeah. I'll be going to Florida that day. And then the AFL starts on March 7th, so that's cool. All right. How about everything else I've been looking at? What about Isle of Man? Let's do a TT. So this is May 28th. Okay, so June. Okay, it's in June. All right. What about the V8 supercars? The Bathurst, baby. That's in Feb. Oh, that's coming up. Is this going on right now? Bathurst. So this is the 22nd to the 25th. Oh, the Bathurst is coming up. That's cool. All right. Interesting. What else haven't we watched? I mean, there's netball and ping pong and all that good stuff, but it's been a while. Alrighty. So I'm actually, let me show you guys my other YouTube channel. That way I can at least make a little short video on it or something to kind of show some people. What am I doing here? All right, let me show you guys this. Okay. So this is my second YouTube channel. I only got a couple videos on it right now. It's actually one of the videos that I have on this channel. This one here I put on there as well. Just kind of A and B test it. But This is where I'm going to put most of my carnivore content. It's a pretty new channel. I haven't done really much branding or anything with it. But if anybody is interested in kind of seeing my journey and stuff on the carnivore diet, I'm going to try and do more videos on it. I kind of kept it to myself a lot. It's you know, it's one of those things where I get this imposter syndrome. I feel like, you know, there's a lot better influencers out there and content creators out there when it comes to carnivore diet. But I'm trying to share my experience a little bit. It's dramatically helped my health and done a lot for me. And I'm also been struggling with it a little bit too. There has been some issues with it that, you know, I want to address. But it's been such a big part of my life the last 6-7 months now that I wanted to at least talk about it. And I think it can be really beneficial to people who are struggling with certain things. So red meat for dinner. This is my new channel. If you go to just youtube.com/redmeat, the number 4 and dinner, all one word, you'll get there. So if you are interested in kind of seeing more of that journey on that side of things, please consider subscribing to that. And yeah, we'll, you know, maybe do some butchering videos. I have a video I made on making bone broth that I need to edit and put out there. But if this is something people want to see, I'll definitely start making some more content on it. What I need to do is, I wonder if I can like associate the channel with this channel. We'll get into that later, but yeah, so red meat for dinner, baby. All day, all day. Today's dinner is steak. Steak, steak, steak. Let's see here. You know, it is cool to see. We got guys like Cardman here. I remember this guy back in the day, a couple of years ago. He's already up to 31.8 thousand subscribers. Good on you, dude. That's so freaking awesome. Like, I've kind of been seeing his stuff. I didn't keep up for a while, but like, I mean, the kid is killing it. You know, he's got great thumbnails. He's putting out content consistently. He's been putting out content consistently for years now. So that's awesome. Good on you, dude. And we got my boy Menke. I've been seeing his Instagram shorts and things like that. He is starting to get on the YouTube train. Needs some more videos, but I think he's doing more of the Instagram and the Twitch thing. So, but yeah, good to see him here. Who else? Who else haven't I caught up with in a while? What about Mr. Footy A to Z? Where's he been? Is he still making content? He used to put a lot of work into this. It's been a little while, but he usually takes a while on his videos because they take a lot of work. What else? Who else do we got? The Beasleys. This is a fun one. This kid. Look at this. 185,000 subscribers. These two have fucking done it. All right. I was talking to oh fuck, why can't I remember his name? Mr. Beasley. Let's go with Mr. Beasley. On was it Instagram? Yeah, I think it was Instagram a little bit. Super awesome, dude. I remember when he first got started and we were chatting about YouTube and things like that. And look at him, he's killing it. 185,000. I don't think people understand how hard that it can be to do. Like, that takes consistency. And look at him. 3 videos a day for like, how many videos does he have? Dude has almost 2,000 videos. That is nuts. How many videos do I have? Not even close. What do I got? Let's see. Oh, I got 200 videos. Ha! So, 200 videos versus 2,000. This is the difference, guys. This is what consistency and volume gets you. Like, I'm super happy for this guy. It's awesome. It's awesome. And he did it with the reaction stuff. And, you know, he diversified. It was hard for me to do that. I really struggled with the reaction stuff. But super happy to see them make it. And the fact that he implemented his girlfriend. I don't know if they're married. They are married now, I think. So, maybe not. But the fact that they made it like a family channel now is pretty sweet. Really happy for him. Who else do we got? Who else haven't we seen in a while? It's been a while. Who else on the subs haven't we talked to in a while? We got Bomb here. Let's see if he's done anything. I haven't talked to this guy in a while. What the heck is going on here? It's been a couple years. All right. Again, if you guys want to check out my carnivore journey, anything like that, go to Red Meat for Dinner. consider subscribing, turning on that notification there. Right now, it doesn't have a lot of content. It probably won't have a lot of content in the near future, but I'm going to try and start making more videos for that and putting out more content around my health journey when it comes to the carnivore diet and changing what I eat. So, thank you for that. And yeah, like I kind of suspected, we're probably not going to get a lot of people on this live stream today just because of how off the times are. But what I'll do is I'll try to go live tonight again, and maybe we can catch some of the regulars from years past. I'm imagining most of my subscribers and community have kind of drifted off into their life, which is understandable when you don't make content for 2 years. But who knows? Maybe there'll be a couple regulars along the way that we can start chatting with again. I am interested to see this Bathurst game. I gotta start like writing some of this down. The 22nd to the 25th. Unfortunately, I will be out of the state. I won't be home for that. And then this is in May. Okay. AFL is starting in March, but the NRL is starting this weekend as well. So we have the NRL this weekend, and we have Bathurst this weekend. Dale, we got one. What's going on, Dale? How are you? Thanks for stopping in and saying hello. I am just doing a little live stream here, saying hello to everybody. It's been a long time since we've jumped on here and chatted. So thanks for stopping by and saying hello. Maybe I can fix this so your comments show up. I'll try and do that. All right, we say, good man, love your videos for a long time ago, starts this week. Yeah, thanks, man. I'm glad you watched the videos and you decided to jump on. You know, that's saying a lot, so I really do appreciate that. Thanks for being here, buddy. I'm gonna try and do some more videos, trying to get back into the swing of things. I saw the AFL starts this week. I thought it was March 7th. Is this the right thing here, buddy? Because that would mean it's next week, no? Am I missing something? Or is this like preseason? Oh, that must be the preseason. Okay, here we go. So practice match, Collingwood Richmond on the 27th. That's next week, it looks like, though. Proper season starts March 7th. Yeah, I was just looking into that. I'm glad I decided to jump on today and take a peek because it's actually coming up. Let's see. So March 7th. Where we got round? What is this? Round 1. So what's OR? What does that mean? Why is there only 4 games on? Or 3? Yeah, 4 games on. What does OR mean? So week 1. We got everybody playing. We got the Bulldoggies playing Melbourne. Let's go. Let's go Bulldoggies. Who do I think will do good in the AFL this season? Any surprise? Honestly, dude, that's a tough question. Just because I haven't watched an AFL game in almost 2 years. I have no clue. Didn't Collingwood win last year? Did Collingwood win last year? Is the lanky Yankee, is he still playing? Mr. American. I don't know. I'm going to root for my Bulldoggies, and then, you know, I always have Port Adelaide as a second favorite, but we'll see. You know, I still got my Eagles flag back there. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's go Big Birds. So Collingwood won. Who won the year before? Let's find out. I'm going to race you guys. Who won the year before? Let's see. Geelong. The Cats. That's Mr. Brock's favorite team. I haven't talked to him in a while. Well, who are you going for, Dale? I mean, what are you... I was going to say rooting for, but I know you guys don't want me to say that. So who are you going for, Dale? And what part of Australia are you in? Because it's like really early there. I think it's like, what? Isn't it like 4 in the morning in Perth? And it's like 7 in the morning in Sydney. Something like that. Boo. Boo, he says. Let me know, too, if the music's too loud, that kind of stuff. Let me know, like, if you notice anything about the stream that is off or anything like that. Because, again, I haven't streamed in a long time. And, you know, I had to change all my settings. I re-imaged my computer, and OBS has all changed over the last couple of years. So if anything's off, just let me know. Feel free to criticize the stream in chat. You know, any help is appreciated. But, let's see, Hawthorne and Melbourne, Australia, it's 6:42. All right, so maybe I'm catching some of the folks just waking up. Maybe they can stop in before they go off to work. You know, in America today, on Monday, well, technically it's Sunday here. It's Monday for you guys. But Monday in America, it's President's Day. I don't think it's President's Day in Australia, but a lot of, you know, I think some people get the day off on Monday for President's Day. But holiday over here. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Again, Dale, I said it, you know, earlier. I'm going to make a little video off this live stream about it. But if you're interested in checking out my other second YouTube channel, it's called Red Meat for Dinner, and this is where I do my carnivore diet stuff. That I started doing carnivore diet about 6 months ago. It's really changed my health for the better, drastically. And so I got a couple videos. I'm doing. I'm going to do more videos in the future. Kind of trying to figure out how to structure them, but. Yeah, I figured I'd do a second channel, kind of documenting that stuff. And I was going to just put stuff on this channel about it, but I feel like it gets too random. So if you're interested in that, it's the second channel here. You can always check that out. If not a big deal. Let's see. My Hawks team is getting there. You think the Hawks are gonna pull it out this year, huh? Hawthorne, baby. What did they finish last year? Is there the ladder? Where'd Hawthorne fit? Down at the bottom. They didn't do too well last year, did they? Ew, the Eagles. Eagles in last place. What the heck? So we got Lions, as always. Port, Collingwood. Some of the big dogs here. St. Kilda is up top 6. Swans. Richmond. Has Richmond fallen off? Like, what happened? Richmond used to be one of the real powerhouses, no? What happened to Richmond? What about the Rabitos? Actually, let's look at last year's. I'm curious who won in the 2023. So you finished 16th, but you beat Collingwood and Brisbane. Both were in the grand final. Okay. Okay. So you think that's going to give you some positive momentum into the following year? How many rounds are there? This looks like the Panthers. The Rabitos. What the hell? Okay. We started from scratch. Complete overhaul. Every player is young. All right, so you got a young team. So maybe it's in that rebuilding stage a little bit. You guys think you're going to do well this year? Or are you guys still rebuilding? You know, or is it one of those things where it's going to take another season to get those young guys up and running? You know, that's pretty common in hockey, too. You know, sometimes it takes a couple of years to build those young guys up. You know, you get a lot of draft picks, that kind of stuff, and it can take a little bit. So, did the Panthers win? You're still rebuilding players to get to 50 game, but signs are there. All right, I like it. I like the optimism, you know. Man, they put out a lot of content, don't they? NRL hates me. I wonder if they still hate me. We'll see. They probably do. I am curious, actually. Let me just turn this off for a quick second. just to make sure I don't show anything I'm not supposed to. But let me look at my content. I want to see if I got any copyright strikes from the NRL recently. Am I going to an AFL game this year? I wish. That'd be so fun. I don't live in Australia, though. I've never been to Australia. You know, the plan originally when I started this YouTube channel was to get out there, but you guys had such harsh COVID restrictions that I couldn't get over there, and I refused to take that vaccine. So I think things have maybe laxed up a bit. I mean, do you still need a vaccine to get into the country? I mean, is that still a thing or no? But, I mean, if I could get over there, I would love to. I would love to spend, like, a month in Australia. Go to an AFL game. Like, go in the fall, or our fall, your spring. Like in October sometime. It eased up, but you might be able to get around it. Let me Google it. Do you need a COVID vaccine to go to Australia? Hey, mean waiter, how you doing, boss? Missed you, buddy. Glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. You got school today, or what are you doing? When was this made? This was 2 years ago, so that can't be accurate. Hold on. What is this? When was this? This is 23. So this is only a few months ago. You have woken for school. Good man. Good man. Alright. How can I get the... This is Austria? I don't want Austria. I want fucking Australia. Did I spell it wrong? I did. I'm an idiot. I'm not going to Australia. Travelers entering and departing Australia are currently not subject to COVID. Oh, okay. Let's look at this. So we're definitely not going to Austria anytime soon. Alright. Do travelers require... All travelers should be up to date with their COVID. Huh. The Australian government does not currently have any COVID-19 requirements in place for travelers entering and departing Australia. COVID-19, however, continues to pose a health risk in Australia and overseas. We strongly encourage wearing masks and being vaccinated while traveling internationally. You should practice good cough and hand hygiene and physically distance from others where possible. Some countries, airlines, and vessels operators may have COVID-19 travel requirements in place. Check the requirements of any countries you are willing to travel to, transiting through airlines, vessels, blah, blah, blah. Travel insurance, cruise travel. So it looks like you guys don't. So hold on, this is loud. So that's good. You went to the Melbourne Derby, Melbourne City versus Melbourne Victory, Saturday night, just for it to end 0-0 like last time. What's the Melbourne Derby? What sport is that? Because I remember with COVID, you guys, like... I remember when I was YouTubing at the time, I was hearing stories of, like, them evacuating stadiums because somebody with COVID entered the city. Like, it got real crazy over there, no? Like, everything was just locked down like nuts. And looks like they've waxed up on it, so it looks like you don't need a vaccine to get into the country. I do have a passport. Should we look at how much it costs? Dale, you said football. Oh, football, soccer. Okay, that makes sense. So is the Melbourne Derby like Australia's professional soccer league, or is that like a tournament within the professional soccer league, or is this kind of like a B league or a minor league, or what is it? I guess what is, because like in America it's called MLS, Major League Soccer. I wonder what it is in Australia. Let's look up, let's just look up, like, Houston to Perth. Oh, First Division Professional Australian Soccer. It's called the A-League. Okay, that's cool. I haven't been to a Major League Soccer game in a long time. What are your thoughts on like some of these Euro guys coming to America, like Messi going to the to Florida, or what was it, Miami? I think. All right, let me go to. Oh shit, I don't know the MLS very well, but I know a lot of these really big names are starting to come over to America for the MLS. So it looks like, let's just say we were to go in. I don't know. When is the AFL like wrap up? I forget. Isn't it like at the end of the year? September? Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. I thought it was around there. August. Let's just say like September 1st to the 30th. Like, what would that be? Roughly. Well, $1,500. I mean, that's not, honestly, that's not terrible. Like $1,400. What's the flight? 26 hours. Holy shnikes. You don't care anything about to do with soccer other than the A-League, and you're extremely loyal. Nice, nice. I don't follow too much soccer, but definitely like it more than I did in like high school. I used to think soccer was gay. Like, soccer's gay. But nah, soccer's pretty cool. It's all right. You gotta get ready for school. Good to hear the voice. Yeah, good to chat with you, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. Always good to talk to you. Thank you. Have a great day at school, and yeah, get all that learning in. I might do a live stream later if you're not busy and you're around. Let me stop by, say hi. Full day of travel, then full day back kind of sucks. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really much way around it. You know, it's a long flight. I mean, this one is a 7-hour layover. Woo! Got to find something with like one stop. So let's do the quickest. What is this? Yeah, I think the quickest stuff is like 2 stops. Where are we stopping? We're stopping in... What's AKL? Oh. So we go to New Zealand, then from New Zealand to Sydney, then from Sydney to Perth. So it'd probably be better to go to Sydney first then? And then maybe go over to Perth. Is that cheaper? The quickest will be 24 hours. Yeah, that's what I figured. Actually, if I go to Sydney first, I can get there with only one stop at LAX for 40-minute layover. That's not a lot. I don't want to miss my flight with that. But, dude, it's only $1,100. I mean, I know it's kind of a lot, but for a flight that far, it's not terrible. It's definitely something could save up for. You know, who knows? If this YouTube channel kicks off and we start making ad revenue again, maybe we'll put some of that to a trip out there. Problem is, the flight's one thing, but you almost need like 5 times that amount for the month of travel there. I don't know. You're going to Ireland to see family in August? That's sweet. I've never been out of the... Well, I shouldn't say that. I've been out of the country. I've been to Canada and Mexico. I've never been out of the continent, right? Never been over the pond, per se. Yeah, you said... You're in Melbourne, right? Is that what you said? I'm sorry, I forgot. But yeah, I know that when I was planning the trip before, I wanted to kind of go from... Well, whether... Doesn't matter which one we started, but from Perth over to Sydney, or vice versa... and kind of hit some of the major cities like the Gold Coast, hit Sydney, hit Melbourne, Brisbane, go over to Perth, that kind of stuff. You know, it'd be cool to see both coasts. I don't know logistically how much that would make sense. I mean, thinking about it, that's almost like saying, well, I want to go to New York, and then I want to go to Florida, and then I want to go to Texas, and I want to go to LA, and thinking about it that way, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of work. You're thinking about it in America, and I'm sure it's no different in Australia. It's a lot of driving, a lot of flying and stuff, but I feel like if I am going to go out there, it needs to be for at least like a month. I mean, 2 weeks would be so short, in my opinion. I don't know. It's tough to say. But let's see. We got this flight here. And the departing would be... I don't want to spend 20 hours. Dang, the return flight is what's rough because you're... Well, I wonder if the return flight, if you could do it from a different... You heard Alaska is the biggest state in America? Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It is bigger than Texas for sure. And they're proud of it too. When you go to Alaska, I've been to Alaska before. They have shirts. Like, it's a very touristy place in the sense that nobody lives there in the winter. It's like inhabitable almost in the winter. I mean, there is locals, but I'd say like 80-90% of the people that are there during the summer don't live there. They fly there and then they work the summers there. And you know, there's a lot of shops with t-shirts. Welcome to Alaska. Like, they have Mount Denali, which is technically the tallest mountain in the world, not the highest. Everest is the highest, but Denali is almost at sea level, so it's technically the tallest. So they brag about that. They got shirts saying that. They also got shirts saying, you know, biggest state in the country, bigger than Texas, whatever it is. They have all these shirts bragging about that. Texas is the second biggest state. Texas is the biggest in the lower 48, but Alaska is bigger. I know it surprises a lot of people. I live in Texas. Texas is huge. I mean, if you're driving from like the bottom of Texas to Canada, right, from Mexico to Canada, essentially, Texas is like a third of the way, or like 25% of the way almost. It's a lot. Texas is cool. It's chill. You know, everybody's very laid back. Everybody's friendly. Got Southern hospitality. They have constitutional carry here, so it means anybody can carry a gun as long as you're not a felon and things like that. So everything's very safe. It's pretty much the opposite of California. California's kind of a shithole, but if you're a tourist, it is kind of a cool place to see. California is the most beautiful weather in the country. Nice beaches, all that kind of stuff. But you're also going to deal with homeless people pooping on the roads everywhere you go. I mean, it's kind of been a terrible place. Like, it's just kind of gone downhill. But if you're going there for touristy stuff, it can be really fun still. I mean, just pretty much anywhere in the country can be fun if you're a tourist and you do the right things. Everything is bigger in Texas, which is why I thought Texas was bigger. Yeah. Alaska gets forgotten about. They're up there tucked away on the side of Canada, so people just kind of forget about what they got going on up there. But you go up there, they'll tell you, we're the biggest state. We have the highest mountain, tallest mountain in the world. You know, we got mosquitoes the size of ravens. Yeah, I'm not just kidding. But they got really bad mosquitoes. They have ravens up there, which are really cool birds. But yeah, Texas definitely a little bit better weather than Alaska. You know, not too shabby down here. I do miss Florida. I lived in Florida for a year on the West Coast side, and that was beautiful. I do miss Florida a lot. But yeah, man, I really, now that you're talking, looking up flights here, this is pretty intriguing. Definitely want to get to Australia sometime. So it would depart at 6:15 from Houston, and then I get to LAX at 10. Dude, that's not a big layover at all. So then from 10:40, then it's a 15-hour flight overnight, and you get in at 6:55. So that's 7. So it's technically an 8-hour time difference, but you're on the plane for almost 16 hours. And it only changes about... Oh, it's a full day. No, I'm sorry. That's 7, 8 hours plus 24. That's like a 32-hour time difference. What's up, Michael? How you doing? Been in North Carolina. You remember everybody stopping their conversations and saying, you walked? When I told them I had walked to the nearest town about 45 minutes away. Yeah, that's... Most people don't walk in the States. I mean, America's so big, everything's spread out. Most people don't. Well, unless you're in a major city where it doesn't make sense to drive, you know? People walk there, but... Yeah, North Carolina is beautiful. I used to have some family that lived there. We used to go and vacation off the coast in this little island. North Carolina's a beautiful, beautiful area, for sure. Awesome place. I definitely like the South. The South in the States is definitely a great place to be. Weather's good, people are nice, more traditional values, which I appreciate because things have kind of gotten out of control in America with the left. You know how that's kind of gone. So a lot of these more red states per se are just more reasonable. You know, things make more sense, which I like. It's kind of one of the reasons I moved. But yeah. At least things have kind of gotten a little more sensible since COVID has died down and that whole time period has kind of passed. But yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Michael. Good to see you. Is anybody watching the Supercars this weekend? I mean, shit, I forgot all about that. 4 days. Bathurst 500. It's exciting. How do you watch it? I'd have to hit up my contact again to get the game, or to get the the race. Because I do not get access to these on local channels here in the States. I used to have the AFL pass for Americans. I wonder if you can still get that. How do I get that? I don't even know how I got that. What's AFL on demand? Let's see. Maybe I should just Google it. Watch AFL in USA. To watch the AFL in the USA, one option is to look for televised match on NBC. Oh, NBC starting to broadcast them? Interesting. We got Fubu. I don't know Fubu. Other options to stream the game. Watch AFL. That's what it was. Watch AFL. So this is what I had last year. It's only for Americans. So, yeah. This is what I paid. I was paying $44 a month to watch the games with you guys. And honestly, you guys footed the bill. You guys, the ad revenue and things like that paid for it, so it was fine. But it is not cheap to watch. Just to watch the AFL, it's $44 a month in Australia. I mean, what is that in American? So, let's see. It's cheaper. So it's 20. Oh, Jesus. What happened to the Australian dollar? Jesus Christ. The American dollar goes a long way over there, no? Jesus. You guys got crazy inflation? So if I just go there with... Man, I'm definitely traveling to Australia. My dollar's going to go far. What is it? $1 is 65 cents US? Crazy. So what is that? 28. So a year, it's 229. So it's $150 for the year. So it's about $12.50 a month. That's actually not too bad. That's not terrible. That's like a Netflix, you know? It's not terrible. And it's worth it, too, if I'm watching the games. Yeah, you are paying for it here. It's on your guys' regular channel, so no? Like on the cable channels and stuff? I can't believe how... Well, let's look at the 5-year. So back when I was doing this... $1 Australian dollar, 65 cents, right here. Where are we at now? 65 cents. Okay, so it actually jumped up to almost 80 cents for the dollar. But down here, look at this, 58 cents in 2020. This is around COVID. Man, almost down to half. So you guys need to be making like twice as much as us to... Just kidding. You're from the UK. Can't answer any of your questions, I'm afraid. Oh, it's all good, Michael. What's the UK dollar like? What's the, what do you guys got? The pound? So 1 pound is 1.6. So that makes sense. The US pound's always been worth more than $1, typically. At least in my experience. Was there a time where it wasn't? No, it's always... Actually, it got almost even with the dollar. That would have been a really good time to buy into the pound. If you're into Forex. Huh. Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. collapses in the sense of we're just printing money like it's going out of style. I mean, Jesus, we printed like trillions and trillions. Like, there's going to be countries stop using the U.S. dollar as the standard. And it's going to be a rough time for us if that happens. Sucks. Most of you are on minimum wage, or most of us are on the minimum wage, and the prices are not matching. Still very expensive. Yeah, and we're dealing with that in America too. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Tucker Carlson interview with Putin, and a lot of people criticize them for this and the fact that, like, you know, you're not comparing apples to apples. You know, cost of living is different in Russia. You know, basically they checked out with a ton of food, and everybody that was there in America, like, they thought it was gonna be about $400 American, you know, to check out with groceries at this Russian grocery store. And it turned out they had a whole cart full of groceries. It only cost them 100 American. So he was saying, he's like, you know, it costs 4 times less to get groceries in Russia than America. I mean, you wonder why people, you know, don't really care who's in office. They want their prices down. They want inflation to go down. They don't care if Trump's mean or bad, whatever. They want to be able to buy their food. That was the point he was making. And then a lot of people got on him for that, saying, you know, Well, you're not comparing apples to apples. I mean, Russia's GDP, I mean, the average person is making way less than an average American. So cost of living, it's comparable. And that's a good point. But then I also started to think, that makes sense. But I do think that the average American salary is inflated. Like, let's look it up. Average American salary. Okay. Why don't I just get a nice simple answer? Give me a salary. No, I want the average annual salary nationwide. So the average annual salary they say is $60,000. I'm willing to bet that if you were to take out the top 1%, all the billionaires, because America has way more billionaires than Russia, I would imagine. I mean, let's look this up. Let's make sure we're accurate here. Billionaires in USA. Is there just like a number? My whole point to this is I think the number of billionaires in the United States inflates the average, right? So if you were to remove all the billionaires in Russia and all the billionaires in the United States, I'm pretty confident our cost of living or our average income would be way lower than 60,000, right? I think a good chunk of people are making under 60,000, but then you have so many people like these hyper billionaires or whatever you want to call them, that they raise that average, right? So you can look at that argument too. Okay, so there's 735 billionaires, according to Wikipedia here, in the U.S. Now, let's look at for Russia, because I think this is going to make a difference here. So Russia has 105 billionaires. So America has over... It's exactly 7 times the amount of billionaires. 7 times more billionaires are in the U.S. than Russia. That's going to inflate that average salary, which is fine. I mean, if you want to compare average salary, then that makes sense. But if you're looking at the average person who's living paycheck to paycheck, they're not making $60K. And a lot of Americans are on that boat, right? So I think if you were to account for the top 0.01% in both countries, that average would be a lot lower. And I think that people have an easier time maybe getting groceries in Russia. That could be a thing. I don't know. But I know Tucker Carlson got a lot of flack for that, which is fine or whatever. But I do think that, the fact that there's so much concentrated wealth in America, that it's going to inflate that average American salary. Because you have 730 people with the majority of the income. But yeah. Where was the... I must have got rid of it. Let's see. Got to move then? Yeah, right? It was about $2. Wait, it was about $2 to the pound when you went to the U.S. Oh, so your dollar was almost twice as much as a U.S. dollar. Yeah. So I'd imagine then salaries in the U.K. are typically lower than in U.S. just because of that whole cost of living thing. It is interesting, too, because, I'm sure it's not... I'm sure that to some degree it is in the UK, but the UK is way smaller than the United States, right? So if you look at average salaries in a place like New York or Los Angeles versus somewhere in like, I don't know, Orlando, Florida, or, Austin, Texas, like for the same job, you're making like half of the amount compared to like New York or LA, just because like it's just getting like a 2-bedroom apartment in LA is like $3,000 a month or some BS. It's so stupid. It makes no sense. So that is one thing in America. You got these drastic differences depending on where you are in the country. But I ain't never living in LA. That place is a crap hole. I mean, unless they radically change it, I don't ever have any interest in being out there. Your food is cheaper than America unless it is heavily processed. Then it's dear and it's cheaper. I guess, yeah. I don't know. The problem with food in America right now, and I don't know if you're saying this now or if you're saying this when you went. I don't know when you went to the USA, to be honest, because ever since COVID, like inflation has been so freaking stupid here. And part of the reason is because the government literally during COVID just gave everybody a shit ton of free money with like zero stipulation. And it just raised the prices on everything. Like everything went up and nobody wanted to work. So then it's, prices went up even higher. And it was like $7 a dozen for eggs. Like it was the stupidest thing. Like people couldn't even get basic groceries. You could get shitty processed food for relatively cheap still, but like good food that used to be relatively affordable or cheap. Eggs used to not be that expensive. You can get eggs for pretty cheap, but they just went through the roof, And it's come down a bit, but it's not that much, it's still too high. It's still overpriced. Fortunately, I only eat meat or animal products. So I eat pretty much just red meat, some seafood, butter, salt, and beef fat. That's the only things I eat. So I usually am good at hunting deals. So I don't really have inflation is not as much of an issue for me because of when it comes to food, at least, because I can still get meat for like $5 a pound or whatever it is when it's on sale. And I just get like 30, 40 pounds at a time and I just stock up in my freezer. But if you're buying all that processed shit and the cereals and the grains and the breads and all this other stuff for a family of 4, it's insane. You're spending like $600, for a couple weeks of food. It's ridiculous. But something's got to give, right? People are getting really fed up with the situation right now when it comes to inflation and when it comes to what's going on here. And you see a lot of people, even a lot of Democrats, right? We're in an election year, so things are going to get crazy over here. You already know that. Most of the Democrats are just like, screw Biden because I can't buy my groceries. They're like, I hate Trump, but still, screw Biden because I can't buy groceries. They're like, at least when Trump was in, I was like, I buy groceries even though they hated him, So it's definitely an interesting time. Evan Edinger did one. He's an American living in the UK. He did what? What did he do? So this says the average salary is $55K in the US. What's the average Russian salary? All right. So $763 a month. Okay, so it makes me, I guess I'm gonna have to do math. So, okay, so, if that's all they're making in a month, then maybe I'm wrong. If that's the average Russian salary, that's pretty shit. Oh, Evan Energy did a video comparing US and UK supermarket prices. Okay, that's interesting. Is he from the UK then? Or is he more of an American guy? Let's look him up. American British YouTuber living in London. Okay, so he lives in London. Is he an American first, then British? Where was he born? I'm wondering. That's interesting. He's a big channel. Never heard of this guy. What's it like as an American abroad with taxes, sorry, double taxation? That's the one nice thing about Texas is there's no income tax. You don't pay any tax on your income you make in here in Texas. Same with Florida. He lives in the UK, but he's American. Okay, cool. Let's see what his most popular videos are. Dang, that's an old one. Oh, I hit the wrong one. All right. Man, these whole British versus American things, they do really well. The Beasley channel did really well doing that. He's been around for a long time. Should we watch maybe a little bit of the comparison here? Which one are you talking about? Which one was he comparing it? European ban these foods, American, or British food stores in America? No. Oh, is this here? I compared UK and US, or US and UK grocery prices last year. Here's what I found. Is this it? This has to be it, right?
The cost of living just keeps going up. Feels like every time I'm out shopping.
Okay. It's laggy here. Well, we can watch this. Should we watch
For
this?
groceries, the price is so much higher than last time. But if
Bro, what the hell is going on? My computer's freaking out. That's it. It's only 15 minutes. Let's see. We'll watch this. Give me a couple minutes, and I'm gonna go around to the bathroom, grab a drink, and we'll check this video out. I'm kind of curious to see what this guy has to say. So just give me a couple minutes, and we'll be back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience. I had to get me coffee with butter. You guys ever have butter in your coffee? When you don't eat carbs, you need to get a lot of fat. So, all right, set this down. Get my butter mustache on, and let's see. Let me turn the music off here. Let's see what this video is all about. Alrighty then. We're gonna speed it up because I like to listen to this a little bit faster.
things getting more expensive in the UK than the US? Let's head back to my studio and get to the bottom of things.
Hi, Evan Edinger here, US-UK YouTuber guy. About a year ago, I uploaded a video on this very channel comparing the prices of not so much more expensive to get the US and the UK. Possible to avoid any unwanted variables entering the mix. That would be grocery. No. Just as last.
I'm sorry guys, but I don't know what the hell is going on with my internet or my computer. What the hell?
Last time, the UK brands we're going to be looking at are Sainsbury's and Tesco because they are mid-range. They're definitely not Waitrose. And they're definitely not Asda. In the US, again, I went with Acme and ShopRite because they're not Whole Foods up top and they're definitely not Walmart at the bottom. And if you've never heard of either of these, well, just know that Acme is owned by the same company as Kroger, Safeway, Albertsons. So if you're aware of that company, it's pretty much the same thing, just the East Coast variant. In terms of the individual brands of items we'll be looking at, I again went with comparable.
Is this too quiet,
items.
or you can hear it?
That the last video I uploaded, I had Brits sounding off going, he used the name brand stuff. It's actually not fair. There were a lot cheaper products. While I also had Americans going, whoa, he used some name brand stuff. I can't believe this. It's not fair. That is funny. Just give me the benefit of the doubt here that my goal here is to make it as one-to-one as possible. I have experienced life in both countries. I've shopped for groceries in both countries, and I'm very well aware of what products line up roughly in the quality range and the price range depending on what country you live in. So yeah. And the final way I made this comparison, a comparison, was to use Google Sheets' conversion algorithms to ensure that the weights of the items were normalized. So if one was in ounces, one was in grams.
Hold on, sorry. I messed up the volume here. Give me a second. I put a 0 next to this, and I hit negative 80 decibels. I did not mean to do that. All right.
On groceries, there are 13 that do, but I'm looking at groceries in New Jersey, which does not have sales tax on food, so that doesn't need to be taken into account. I've converted everything into pounds for Brits on the left-hand side, and I've converted everything into dollars for Yanks on the right-hand side. Without further ado, let's go. Can the US come out on top after last year's embarrassing defeat? Let us see. So, foodstuffs, our first category, an 800-gram loaf of bread. The UK price? £1.39. Not too shabby. The US price? Oh, God, nearly 3 times more expensive at £4.08.
Wonder Bread is also one of the shitty bread. I mean, I used to eat Wonder Bread growing up, but I mean that's kind of the that classic. You know, it's just not good. It's not like homemade bread or anything. It's just that white bread that's mass produced.
Ooh, sure, the UK is cheaper to buy a loaf of bread, but if we compare each country to how it was last year, well, it looks like the UK's inflation was nearly 16% for that loaf of bread, whereas the US's was nearly 10. This is not looking good. Now, my favorite.
I think a lot of the US's inflation didn't necessarily happen last year either. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of our inflation came right after COVID. You know, and in those subsequent months, like in 2021. So I'm curious to see what his original video for the previous year, like what the U.S.'s inflation looked like there, because I'd imagine it's a lot higher than what it was this year. Because the Fed has done a lot of work to try and get inflation down because of how bad it's been.
Such as Quaker oats, porridge oats, oatmeal, whatever you want to call it. 1 kilogram in the UK, pretty cheap breakfast, we're looking at a price of £2.30. Whereas in the US, it's over double at £5.14.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Another one where the US wins, the inflation, the price relatively went up, but not quite as much as the UK. Kellogg's cornflakes, same brand, US and UK, easy to do this comparison.
You know what I want to do, guys? And I know I keep pausing it, but I would love to do on my other channel, that Red Meat for Dinner channel, where I talk more about carnivore diet stuff. I really want to do a video on Kellogg's. For those who don't know, I forget his first name. What's his name? The guy's name was Kellogg. I forget his name. He was a religious nut, and Will Keith Kellogg. He was a religious nut, a Seventh-day Adventist, and his whole goal was to get people to stop eating meat. That's why he created the cereal and mass-produced it. And they thought it was very cheap and profitable, and it just blew up. But this story with this guy is pretty interesting, so we'll cover that at some point.
UK bag of that dreadful cereal, we're looking at £2.25, whereas the US's equivalent price, holy crap, £5.43. However, the US is probably feeling bad right now. They're on the same trajectory as they were last year. But yet again, the UK has had a dreadful year for inflation, and it looks like 1.48% for the US. Wow, that's not too bad. Most Americans probably aren't going to notice that very small increase in price for those Kellogg's cornflakes.
This is also what I was trying to talk about too, is like I know since he's doing these for each year, I do think the U.S.'s inflation happened probably a lot before the British inflation, maybe. I mean, I think a lot of our inflation didn't come in this past year. It was the previous year, but I could be wrong.
What? 12.5%.
Yeah.
Oh, God. 10 times the rate of increase as the US's. Ugh. And here we go, a close one. A 500-gram bag of basmati rice. It is cheaper in the UK, but not by much. Just under £3, whereas the equivalent is just over £3 in the US. Weirdly enough, the increase in price is pretty similar between the US and the UK, with around 16 to 17%. The UK actually snagging one for inflation for once. Hooray. It's still 16%. Now, for 250 grams of name-brand salted butter, the UK just squeaked by with another win. But if we look at the inflation, the US actually pays less for this butter than they did last year.
Yeah, and this is one of my points. There's certain food items, eggs, butter. These are not processed meals already ready to eat. These are like foundational ingredients and things, right? Like whole food items, butter, eggs, meat. You know, anything that a lot of times these are used for other things. When people's butter goes through the roof with inflation, people start to notice. It's one thing to have your Stouffer's meal or your TV dinner or whatever go up in price, but when basic ingredients like butter start to go through the roof, I'm not surprised it went down. I mean, people were getting very upset with things like that. And same with eggs. I wouldn't be surprised if eggs went down in inflation too.
What? I'm just surprised. I feel like everything has been going up, but the US somehow managed butter to pay a little less. Wow. Also, by the way, I did forget to mention, we're not looking at sale prices in any of these just because I want to make sure it is fair between the countries. Doesn't matter if you're a club card member in either country, and also that way you can really see the inflation based on the retail price. As a bonus, Kerrygold is my favorite butter, and it is available in shops in the US and the UK, imported from Ireland. However, imagine buying...
Funny thing about Kerrygold is it Kerrygold? I'm not a huge fan. It's okay. I prefer farm butter, but a lot of butters, I don't know if this is the same in the UK, but a lot of butters in the US and the ingredients list, you should just say butter, right? It should just say whatever, butter. But a lot of butters in the US have butter and natural flavorings, which is just a catch-all for whatever the fuck they want to put in it. So I wonder if Kerrygold is the same thing. I have some Kerrygold in my fridge, but I haven't touched it in months. I typically just use ghee, beef tallow, and then farm butter.
Your 250-gram block of Kerrygold butter and going, oh, £2.40. I can barely stomach this. I'm going to go back to margarine. Well, in the US, the equivalent is £4.10. Whoo, wow. Puts a little perspective.
So if perspective, with that same amount, those 2 sticks, when I buy ghee, I pay about $5 for a half pound for ghee. But I'm okay with paying that because it's super high quality. Butter, again, is super nutrient dense. It's super healthy for you. Don't eat margarine. That stuff is toxic. It didn't exist 100 years ago, so the body doesn't know what to do with it. Butter's great. Don't be afraid to spend extra money on butter.
Of whole milk, the UK is yet again 2 times cheaper than the US. But this is one where the price lock was enacted, and the price of milk has not gone up at all year over year in the UK, whereas it did experience a small increase in the US. For any Americans that are unaware, a lot of UK shops do things such as price lock to make sure that the price of some basics doesn't change over the course of multiple weeks, or they'll try and trick people into not going to Aldi or Lidl for the much cheaper basics by saying, we'll match whatever they have. And so because of this good competition, we actually have milk not going up in price. We win.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if they do that kind of stuff in the U.S. I think the markets are. I don't know if I've ever heard of a situation where the markets in the U.S. when it comes to food are locking certain prices in for the benefit of the consumer. Usually, there's such a variety of products in the marketplace when it comes to food that if you overprice yourself, somebody else will undercut you in that market, and then they will be more successful. So there's a lot of competition, but again, we're going back to these basic ingredients: milk, butter. Whether it's flour, eggs, sugar. I mean, once those things start going through the roof, people get very, very upset as opposed to things like, the frozen pizzas or whatever it is. You'll need to check out the ingredient differences between McDonald's, between the UK and the US. Yeah, I mean, I know that different countries around the world have a lot different requirements on what type of ingredients they can actually put in their foods. The U.S. is very lax. That's why we put a bunch of shit in our stuff. And other countries are way more strict. I used to get a lot of Australian snacks sent to me, and their ingredients lists were a lot different than the stuff you see in the U.S. And I know even McDonald's in the U.K. has a completely different menu. You guys got like a Royale with cheese. We don't got that. So, yeah, definitely differences.
This one thing. Next up, 500.
I will say that the U.S. we pride ourselves on having variety and options and anything we want and flavors and all these things that just that you get the brain a high, essentially, right? That make us feel good and dopamine and all these things. But the nutritional aspect of things has just plummeted over the last 200 years in the U.S. And this is also part of the reason, personally, I think that you see the rates of heart disease, diabetes, metabolic diseases, dementia, all these things are going through the roof over the last 200 years because of the lack of nutrition in our diets. They have vegan burgers at McDonald's. Well, they need to... That's insane to me. That's insane. Actually, a little funny story. I went to the grocery store the other day, and I was looking for ghee, which is just clarified butter. That's all it is, clarified butter. And I was in the butter section of the grocery store, and there was no ghee. There was no ghee, and again, they have it on the shelf somewhere else. But in the cooler section where you could buy sticks of it, there was no ghee, but there was about 20 different plant butters. Plant butters. Imagine that, plant butter. That makes no sense. Plant butter, that's like an oxymoron. I've never rubbed plants together and milked some butter out. That's like almond milk. It's a myth. Almond milk is just ground up bad almonds, and they add a bunch of fucking sugar to it and other stuff. I mean, it doesn't make sense. But again, it's not about nutrition. It's about what's cheap, what's profitable. And
50 grams of cheddar cheese and
pretty common.
Oh my God. Yes, it's more expensive in the States. But the price of cheddar cheese in the UK has gone up by 20%. Oh God. Whereas in the US, the price has gone down by 10%.
The price went down by 10% because the year before it went up by 30% or some BS. I mean, what's the net difference over the last 4 years.
Subsidize the cheese over there, but oh god, I do buy cheese, and this is one thing that I have noticed in a huge differential in price in the last year. And for the final one in this category, a dozen large eggs, in which the UK has finally received a loss. It is just a little bit cheaper to get comparable eggs in the US. Now this was a narrow race because I made it really comparable, but from my experience in the UK, it's very difficult to find eggs that aren't free range, whereas in the US, you can expect to pay less than half of the price here if you do not care about that, because there are a lot of super tiny caged chickens eggs that you can get in the US. You don't have to shell out as much money, but you know, cruelty and whatnot. Now, even though it wasn't in last year's video, I was going to add a 4-pack of Heinz beans because everybody in the UK always buys those every time they go shopping, right? But they're actually a lot more expensive in the US because we have better beans there. Heinz actually have to be imported. Even though it's an American company based in Pittsburgh, hence the logo being a keystone for the Keystone State, Pennsylvania, they actually have to be imported from the Wigan factory in England to get their specific British formulation of baked beans into the States, because no one in the States really enjoys the taste of Heinz.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
So even though you can get a 4-pack in the UK for £3.75.
That's what's crazy about America sometimes. We'll literally, like, it'll be based here. We'll put the product together here, but then we'll ship stuff off to another country halfway around the world for them to do something, and then ship it back here just to sell it here. I'm not saying this is the case with the beans, but there's some weird things like that happen in the States.
This year in the US at Walmart, the cheapest store, $20. What? Can you imagine spending £4 for one can of beans? No. Anyway, I didn't put that one in the calculation because I just don't think that's actually a fair comparison. But without further ado, that is actually the end of the first section. Moving on, we're going to go with fruits and vegetables. Now, before we move on to fruits and vegetables, I want to talk about how inflation is covering the news. Because part of what I'm trying to do here is make inflation a bit more tangible. Because usually when we hear about it in the news, well, it's often highly politicized. Keeping inflation in check is a good thing no matter what side of the political spectrum you fall on. That being said, outlets can write about the topic in a different way that can help skew your perception of the issue one way or the other. And that's why today's video sponsor, Ground News, pulled out right-leaning sources got specific to follow sponsoring, and let's get back. Whereas the UK's has yet again. So as much as it must be nice for Brits to go, whew, at least it's not as expensive as in the US, no one.
What are we comparing?
Nearly 4 times more expensive for a kilogram of onions. But another one where the US's price has not increased at all this year, whereas the UK's has yet again. So as much as it must be nice for Brits to go, whew, at least it's not as expensive as in the US, no one's really thinking that. They're thinking, bloody hell, why am I spending so much more on onions? Onion enough. Onion enough. No. Yet again, tomatoes coming out with a resounding win for the States, and inflation for both countries was pretty minimal for tomatoes. Last year, Pink Lady apples were just a little bit more expensive in the UK than the US, and this year, the divide has widened, yet again because UK inflation is affecting literally everything. Ooh. Now, bananas are a little bit more expensive in the States, but it seems like both countries absolutely had to deal with a very big increase in banana prices. The UK, again, 28% for the price of bananas. The US is dealing with 17, so that's high. But yet again, I think this is what we're seeing data with on the news, is that even though inflation might be high in other countries at some things, the UK's is like, hold my banana. Back to being a bloodbath, a kilogram bag of carrots is nearly 4 times more expensive in the US, but relative to last year, they're not really sweating, whereas the UK's is over 10% more expensive. And a similar story, raisins, same thing. The US's price went down. The UK's went up by about 9%. So even though it's a bit cheaper over here, what? Cucumber. Well, last year, this was a bit of a fair competition between the cucumbers. However, it's nearly the same price if you buy a cucumber in the US and the UK, because the price of a cucumber has gone up by 33%. What are you guys using your cucumbers for?
See, this is one of those things where I would be really curious to see what last year's was. Just because I do think that the US got in such an outrage over the past year with how bad inflation was. I mean, like, that's all people were talking about on the news. I mean, there was so much criticism with the Biden administration, all this shit, because of how bad inflation was as it relates to groceries specifically. It was a big contention. And I feel like the administration was, and I know they don't control it, obviously, but they were really working hard with the Fed and things like that to really try to reverse this inflation. And part of the way they did that is they raised interest rates like through the roof. Like the cheapest interest rate you can get right now with great credit is like 9%. And so I wouldn't be surprised if over the past 12 months, inflation has not gone up that much or even gone down because of how much it went up before. You know what I mean? The previous year, you would expect it to go down because it has to. People can't live off that. So I would be curious to see what this is. And I do know that, and I don't know if it's specific to this situation when it comes to inflation, but I know that typically other countries around the world typically follow the trends that America does. Not because they're like, we love America, but it's just like things tend to not, you know, with the inflation with the U.S., you wouldn't see that immediately in the U.K. I feel like you would see it several months later. Same thing with, you know, it kind of trickles out from there. At least that's my assumption on it. But this is quite interesting. Check the differences with Russia. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier with the Tucker Carlson interview with Putin. And kind of how he went into the grocery store and he bought all that food for $100 and it was only, you know, $400. And we did a little deep dive into the average salaries of Americans versus Russians, even trying to take a little bit into account the number of billionaires in each given country that would typically inflate these average salary amounts. And I do think Tucker might have got some criticism, rightfully so, about the fact that you're not really taking into consideration the cost of living when it comes to your grocery shopping. But at the same time, I don't think he was trying to make it seem like Russia's better than America. I think his major point is that people, specifically people in the U.S., are starting to lose faith in their institutions when they can't even afford their most basic groceries, like I was talking about earlier, like things like milk, butter, like basic ingredients that people use on a daily basis, not highly processed, pre-made meals and all these things that get expensive, whatever. But basic ingredients, you know, that your grandma's buying, that everybody's buying. When people can't even afford that shit, it doesn't matter who you are in office. It doesn't matter if we like you, your mannerisms or whatever. It's like, what are you going to do to fix our everyday lives? And I really do believe that America got fed up to that point. And I think that's the point that Tucker was trying to make in his little comment about the Russian grocery store, is that, you know, and again, I don't think he rightfully so got some flack because he wasn't really taking into consideration that cost of living stuff. But, you know, I think his main point was like groceries don't have to be as expensive as they are in the U.S. And if you look at the inflation, like this guy's kind of pointing out in his video, and this was just over the past year, you see how crazy even some of the U.S. inflation was. But I guarantee you, if this video was, you know, whatever previous year video this was in 2022, it would be even worse, like way worse. So it is interesting to see.
Wait a minute, a cuke shortage? What is happening? Oh my God, what happened to the price of canned tomatoes? The US's inflation was 12%, which is pretty high for them, whereas the UK's was 69%. It's nearly double for a can of tomatoes. Buy them fresh, totally fine. Buy a can, almost double in the UK. Probably this time next year when I upload my third version of
and a lot of that is due to logistic issues, manufacturing issues. I mean, it's a lot, you know, more work to put the tomatoes in a can and seal the can and label the can and ship the can off in a box. So there's more people in that process. And when you have so many people like not working, it's no wonder it goes up in price.
We might just see the US come out on top for this and quite a few of these if inflation in the UK is just not fixed. We do have a general election next year. We might get the Tories out of office, so we might actually have a chance. And to think they used to be the ones that were supposedly financially sound. They need to learn to read the room, all right? And finally, a bag of potatoes nearly 4 times more expensive in the US. However, we finally get inflation win. Sure, the US has had a 0% for this one, but the UK's has gone down. So if you want to buy potatoes at your local supermarket, it's actually a little bit cheaper in the UK for once. Thank God. Live off potatoes. All right, that does it for the fruit and vegetable section. Moving on to the meats. Oh God.
Oh, this will be good for me. I'm curious to see because I buy a lot of meat. So you don't think the U.S. citizens feel really big differences in relation to what, like inflation? And I guess I'm curious where you're from. But I will say that the U.S. citizens definitely feel a difference in inflation. You know, if you're somebody that's making, you know, if you're part of the top 1%. Because, and it's the other thing, there's such a big discrepancy right now. The middle class has kind of gone away in America. You know, either you're making under 40 grand or you're making over 100 grand. I mean, there's that middle class has kind of started to fall apart over the last couple decades. But if you're not in that top 1%, because if you're in that top 1%, then inflation isn't as big of a deal. You're going to be able to buy your groceries. You're going to be able to you know, eat and still pay for the things you want. Yes, you're going to be paying more, but you're still going to be able to get it. It's not really a big deal to you because you have leftover income. But I'd say the vast majority of consumers in America are making less than what the average states, right? We have if you go to Google the average income of an American salary, it's around 60K, 50K, something like that. I would imagine it's at least 10 to 20K lower than that if you take out that top billionaire class. They 100% were feeling the implications of inflation as it relates to the price of groceries. I know because I've heard it from countless people over the last few years, myself included. When I'm paying $6 for a dozen of eggs, it's ridiculous. When my groceries, what used to cost me $40-50 are now $120 to get groceries. And this was before I was even doing carnivore. It's frustrating. You know, when you spend almost as much and then everything else, like you're basically spending as much on groceries as you would spend going out to eat a few years earlier. And now going out to eat is even twice as expensive. So I would disagree. I think the people in the U.S., most people in the U.S. definitely felt those effects.
Ground beef, mince meat, whatever you want to call it. The UK is still cheaper to buy this. However, compared to last year's resounding win, the price of mincemeat has gone up by 47%. This is a huge one that I've actually noticed when I've been shopping recently.
Lithuania?
I buy a lot of mincemeat, I buy a lot of chicken breasts, and it just feels like my shop is just so much more expensive than it used to be, and I think it really does come down to the meats. Let's see what happens with chicken breasts. 650 grams of chicken breasts, we're looking at £5.33 in the USA, and £4.75 in the UK. So yeah, in terms of inflation, yet again, US's price stayed the same, whereas the UK's has gone up by 13%. God damn. Smoked bacon, another one where it's a little bit more expensive in the US, and inflation has caused the UK's to go up by a little bit. I pretty much have sausages, either Cumberland or Lincolnshire, every single day for breakfast, so I've definitely felt this one. Yes, it's more expensive for sausages in the US. However, their price has gone down by about 10%, whereas the UK's has gone up by 24%. God, the price of tuna has stayed the same in the US, whereas in the UK it's up by 42%. Still cheaper than the US, but I don't think anyone's caring about that anymore. And finally, with salmon fillets, we actually see a resounding inflation win with the UK. Hooray for 5% compared to the US's 21.8%. And that does it for the meat.
And I really do believe that a lot of these inflation hikes when it relates to groceries have come down to supply chain. You know, a lot of meats require less supply chain than a lot of these processed and packaged goods. You know, with meats, you have a rancher, you have a big commercial ranch, and they can supply most of the beef to most of the grocery stores. And it's a very streamlined process. You have a cow, you unfortunately, for the people sad, but you kill the cow, right? And then you butcher the animal and you send the meat off. It's not like you have to make things, package them, label them. You're sending these chunks of meat to the grocery stores directly. They butcher them in house, those kinds of things. So the less involvement in any sort of supply chain over the last 4 years, I feel like created less of an impact on inflation, right? So it doesn't surprise me that meats have kind of gone down. But when you have places, it's less affected by people not wanting to work, right? And meat's already been expensive. That's the thing. What is up, Texas? How are we doing? Landon, Texas. How are you, my man? You said you have a lot of Russian friends or people from CIS countries. What is CIS countries? CIS countries? What is that? So you know a lot about how it is in Russia from the view of a citizen. Okay. Well, I'd be curious on what your thoughts are because, I don't know shit about Russia or what it's like living there. Just kind of what you see on the news, and I feel like there's probably a lot of propaganda both ways. But I'd be very curious to see what your thoughts are on, like, can most Russians afford groceries? Is it hard for them? What's that like? And just, yeah, I'm definitely interested in that for sure. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Groceries, really. It's time to see the totals. If you were to buy all these items in the UK this week, the price would put you back £58.11, whereas in the US, you are paying £92.41. That is yet again over 50% more expensive for a shop. However, when we compare it to last year's shop, the US's equivalent is an inflation rate of 2.97%. That's not bad. However, and here's where the rough part is, if we look at the UK's inflation, we're looking at 16.26%. If you bought each of these items last year and each of these items this year, that's disgusting. That's really rough. The fact that salaries haven't been raising in the last year by 16%, if you haven't received a 16% raise in this 1 year alone, you would be losing money over last year. That's disgusting. This is so bad. And yes, I did try and keep everything as one-to-one as last time, but this also isn't accounting for the fact that some of these brands are going out of their way to participate in shrinkflation. For instance, Sainsbury's for the chicken breasts are charging more and giving you 10 grams less. And you'll see that across lots of different products. For instance, I know Lurpak is doing that. They're now like, oh, you're used to 250 grams? How's 200? But pay the same price. No. Here's a spread.
Well, this is a very easy way for, people understand their or their audience, right? Or their consumers, if you will. People can only handle you raising prices for so long before you have to do other things that still accomplish the same goal, but don't trigger everybody. And that part of that is giving you less for the same price. They're still making money on it. It is crazy to see when you have inflation at 16%. Obviously, salaries aren't going up at 16%. And what's even more crazy, though, is you have people who have stuff in a savings account. Let's say you had your money in the stock market, right? If your stocks didn't do better than 16% last year, you're losing money. Your money is now worth less, even though you invested it. That's what's crazy to me. That's what blows my mind. Okay, so CIS stands for Commonwealth of Independent States. Okay, CIS. Okay, I thought you were calling me like CIS, like the straight thing. I'm like, we're not even going to go there. Russian influences countries. Okay. You see, Texas said, or influenced, Russian influenced countries. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I really don't know much about that side of the world. I just keep up with what's going on with what you hear with Tucker Carlson, all that kind of stuff. But really, I try to focus on home here. But it was interesting to see the whole grocery store interview or his interview with Putin and him going to the grocery store and the train station and all that. That was interesting. Texas says, I just saw a big thing on the food chain that China is taking over and that most of the fires in the food industry are targeted attacks on our food supply. Fires in the food industry. Are you talking about like people getting fired or actual fires, like destroying things? I haven't heard anything like that. I could look that up here in a bit. Honestly, it doesn't surprise me. China's bought like half of Australia at this point. They own like the leasing rights on their biggest ports for like 80 years. They're doing the same shit in other countries. They're buying up land like nobody's business. The CCP owns a ton of property in the United States. There was actually a state that just outlawed the CCP from owning any property and made a forfeit. I forget which one it was. But they're doing the same kind of crap in America. They're buying up large swaths of land and they're actually like operating they're operating like their own little secret intel stations out of these plots of land. Like it's pretty insane. And Bill Gates is, it doesn't surprise me. Side tangent. It's a different channel. My other channel is called Red Meat for Dinner. I'll show you guys this for a brief second. This is where I talk about carnivore diet stuff. I've been on a carnivore diet for 6 months now, and it's radically changed my health for the better. It's night and day changed me. Like I can't talk about it, or praise it highly enough. It's been so good for me. And so I have a couple videos. I'm going to start putting out more videos on my journey with that. But since we're talking about food, I do think that there is this big push. If you look at the 1800s versus now, we eat like next to no meat compared to what we ate in the 1600s, the 1800s. And then if you even look at like animal fats, like where are fats coming from? They're all coming from processed fats that didn't exist 100 years ago. And so your body, these are pushed by these big, Bill Gates or whoever, like it's cheap to make, it's easy to make, it's easy to get to the masses. You have one kind of world order kind of stuff. And I think that between Kellogg and all these seed oils and all this shit that's out there, people's health has just gotten so bad. And, people really need to look at like what should humans properly be eating. And I don't think they want you eating as much meat because meat's something that you can get from your local butcher. Meat's something that you can get on your own if you go hunting. I mean, meat, when you get meat, you're not relying on the government typically, right? And so there is an interesting argument there. All right, Michael, you have a great night. Talk to you later. We'll see you soon. This is Gary from the Discord. What's up, Gary? Okay, Gary from Discord. Are you talking about Gary, the Gary I used to work with, Gary? Probably. Or a different Gary. I would imagine it's the Gary I used to work with. So what's going on, boss? And are you still doing carnivore if it is you? Because I know you started doing that, so I'm curious.
Sheet of all the results and everything.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's just a lot more annoying seeing these numbers physically as opposed to just in my own head of going, oh, that's weird. I never have to spend that much money when I go to the shops every single time. So even though groceries are still cheaper to buy in the UK, that might change year over year depending on how bad inflation is and how far the UK government lets that slip. Either way, I really like this series and I will be doing another one next year. I did a video comparing the prices of Aldi's last year, but that one didn't necessarily hit as much as the standard mid-range that I'm doing right now. So I don't know if I'll do a version 2 of that. Depends on if anyone's actually interested. Otherwise, I have a lot of videos that I've pre-filmed that'll be going out in the next couple weeks, even though I'm moving to Berlin for a month. So hooray! If there's any German-centric content you'd like to see, please leave me a comment and I will look into it. In the meantime, comparisons is pretty much the main thing I do on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in watching other interesting comparisons between the US and the UK, I'll leave a little playlist right here for you to watch to your heart's content. Thank you very much for stopping by my channel and hopefully I'll see you.
Yeah, that was an interesting video. Again, kind of just recapping, my thoughts on that would be like, I would be curious to know what those numbers were the previous year. Because I don't think that, the year 2023 was the worst thing for inflation for America compared to some other countries. But I do think 2022 is pretty bad, and probably 2021. I'd have to look into it. So, because I know there was a big effort because of the outrage to kind of push interest or inflation back because it was getting so out of control. But yeah, that is definitely something interesting to see. And I was surprised to see how bad it was in the UK with some of these ingredients, So very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Thanks for recommending that video, Michael. He's off to bed. God bless America, he says, and God save the king. Good night to you, buddy. Hope you have a great night. Gary is firmly carnivore still. Just a small detour for the holidays. Yeah, I get it. Well, I'm glad you're still doing the carnivore thing. That is good. Good stuff, man. Yeah, I had a little detour for the holidays. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. I tell you what, I did have a time where I decided to have a cheat day, and it was the worst thing ever because I had a whole pizza and a pint of ice cream with a bunch of fillings or snacks in it, whatever. And I had the worst day ever. The whole night was terrible. The next day was, basically chronic bathroom visits all the time. It was the worst experience ever. So I learned my lesson from doing that, but because I'm fully adapted to everything now. So I'm glad it's going well. So yeah, thanks for everybody for watching. We're still gonna hang out for a little bit. I do want to talk to anybody that's here. If you're new to the channel, say hi. But if you've been around before, I am curious to see any suggestions or tips and tricks based off of previous years running this channel, or I guess what do you guys want to see content wise moving forward? Because I want to revive this channel in some sort of way. I want to kind of bring things back and maybe get back into doing some reactionary stuff. But I don't know that it should be the focus. I plan to start watching more of the AFL again and some of the NRL. I do miss watching some of these things and kind of getting back into the Aussie sports. Like we talked about, I think the majority of my audience, like over 30% is Australian. So I know that's a huge reason why you guys got interested in the channel. But yeah, I'm curious to see, what people want to see and where we should kind of move forward. So if there's any suggestions, feel free to shoot those out, spit those out. What I plan on doing is making a video out of this live stream, and I'll maybe post a couple little videos from this. I should have probably just recorded it on my camera while doing the live stream, but I didn't think of that, so I'll have to download the live stream to do that. But yeah. So wait, let's get some tunage going again.
How many countries do you think?
Ha! A British math test, huh? I wonder how I would do on something like that. So his whole channel looks like a lot of just comparing country stuff. Huh. Yeah, I know people love that kind of stuff. Let's see how like heated the backlash is getting today. I don't know why the mainstream media is so upset with him for interviewing Putin. What is this? What does Jimmy Kimmel have to say on the matter? This will be interesting, huh? Does he actually have something to say? Where's Jimmy Kimmel? What is happening? Oh, is this it?
Trump unsuccessfully money himself, $170 million civil fraud case. Okay?
Does anybody actually
Manny, I
think
don't
this guy is funny? Like anybody?
know which
Purposely interpose.
Because like the fact that they're still attacking this guy, so it's every freaking year for the last 8 years now. It's so ridiculous. What does he have to say about Tucker though? I'm curious.
the word moron. So Putin's takeaway was, this guy sucks. Putin said in an interview, he said he hopes Joe Biden beats Donald Trump. He said,
Yes, let's do this more.
He said Biden is better for Russia because he's more predictable. He also said he would absolutely hate it if we all changed our passwords to passwords.
Ha 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 ha! Hilarious. Well, of course he wants. Of course he wants Biden over Trump. Well, I mean he can get away with more with Biden over Trump, but I think he had a better relationship with Trump. I mean I think he said that himself. But Trump. I don't know if you watch videos of it. It's hilarious. I mean, Trump would shake his hand, like pull him in. I mean, Trump didn't take his shit, but Biden doesn't even know where he is. So it's kind of not a comparison, but
I'm saying this, it sounds like a job for the Space Force, you know? They say that the nuke would not be, in other words, they're going to hit us where it really hurts, right in the porn. This wouldn't happen under President. Don't worry, Congress is handling it. And as you know, yesterday was Valentine's Day. I got a text from Guillermo last night at 11:17. He sent me a text that said, what, Guillermo?
Done.
Done.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
That I made sweet love to my wife.
You did.
Yeah. And I was thinking of you and I'll send you the text.
I honestly like. Do people watch this guy like real? Is he still going on about? What is it? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he might have used to been funny, but it's like the same Trump jokes for 8 years straight, and it's like nobody cares anymore. Even people on the Democrats, like they're sick of hearing the shit too. I know so many people that are like Democrats, like friends, and they're just like tired of hearing the same BS. It's like, you know, when you can't buy eggs or bread, and they're still talking shit about Trump, it's like, hello, can we try to fix what's going on here in our country right now and just stop talking about this guy? I think that's how most people feel. Putin says he did not get full satisfaction with Tucker interview. Tucker Carlson's Putin interview was a TV turnoff for Russians. Vladimir Putin's interview with Tucker Carlson was rating flops with viewers of Russian television. Jonas, what's going on, boss? How you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the we're just latest pro-Putin propaganda. Oh my gosh. Like, I wonder how many of these people actually watched the whole interview. And like some of this stuff is just so dishonest. But it's clickbait. It's a headline. It's a headline to get people onto that website so they can get ad revenue. Translate to Russian, what can a student buy for 100 rubles? And search it on YouTube for videos. Okay, let's try it. What can a student buy for 100? Is this what you want me to do? Is this right? Am I on the right path here? This is all going to be in Russian, though. I'm not going to be able to listen to this. Is this what I said? Is this the right way? For some reason, you tried to send a message with brackets. It filtered out by YouTube. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes they got like weird chat things. Yeah, you can just watch their buy. Okay. Well, this one has 6.2 million views. And so let's just do rubles to USD. So 1 ruble is 1 penny. 1 ruble is a penny. I mean, that's pretty easy to math, right? So then 100 rubles would be $1. Yeah. Okay. Or close. Pretty close. All right. Let's watch. This is a short. This is okay. Wait, noodles are 16. What is that? Wait, is that real? 16 is a noodle 17 cents? But the thing is, though, you guys, okay, so, okay, I think I get what you're trying to do here. But I also am curious on what your thoughts are. We'll keep watching this. Hold on, let's just keep watching. What is that, bar of soap? What is that? Oh, butter? What the hell is that? Is that like a cucumber? Yeah, but they're tasteless. The noodles are just made out of like sawdust or some shit.
7 рублей. Продуктов на целый день вышло на 98 рублей. И на пакет, как вы поняли, не хватило.
See, bananas are tiny too. You need to cook it? Well, yeah, you need to cook it. It's a noodle. They're dried noodles. We have dried noodles here too, like hard noodles. You gotta boil them.
Вот так вот без пакета, зато с едой. А вот что я приготовила из этих продуктов. Прожить можно, ну а ты подписывайся.
Interesting. Okay, she cooked it all. So my thought is average Russian salary. So if it's this much a month, right? That's $797 a month. Then that would mean that, you know, oops. Oh shit, I keep fucking this up. Let's try this again. 797 times 12. So that means you guys, the average salary of a Russian is $9,500 a year. I think the average salary of an American is around 60,000. Now, again, I think that number is inflated because it's not taking into account the 700 and some billionaires in you know, in America, but it's still more than this. I think the average salary, if you accounted for that, if I had to guess, would probably be closer to like 40,000. But that's like 4 times the amount of here. But then, okay, so then let's look at that. Let's just do some simple math, because I like math. So she's got 100 rubles, so she's got $1. Is that what that is? Is that seriously what she's got? She got $1 to go in there with? Okay. To be honest, in Russia, if you don't have any good grade average, your salary is about 25,000 rubles a year. Oh, per month. Per month. Okay, is that per month? So then that would be 271. Let's go 272 times 12. So it's 3,200. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so you're probably, our salaries are probably like 10 times higher than your guys's, or not maybe your guys's, but than Russians. Okay, but okay, so I don't know what that is. Okay, banana is 80 or okay, so banana's 58. 58. So that's 63 cents. And then if you multiply that by 10, because again, we're about 10 times more, make more money than you. So I mean that's $6.30. A banana does not cost $6.30 in America. Wait, one banana costs 63 cents? That's an expensive as hell banana. Even in America, that'd be expensive. Let's look at something else. Oh, she got a coupon. Oh, I think, wait, is that the total? Okay, so wait. I'm so confused. I can't fucking read Russian. All right, so noodles are 16p. Let's just do that. Let's just use that. 16 for the noodles. So that'd be like $1.70. It's still cheaper than America, I think. A banana is 10 rubles. Thank you. Okay, let's look at that. Oops, I fucking hit the wrong one. All right, banana is 10 rubles, so that's 11 cents. That's a pretty expensive banana, at least for the States. Maybe it's harder to get bananas because we also you know, I think I'm sure we just get them from Central America. They might be bananas might be easier to get here in America because paying 11 cents for a banana is a lot for one banana. They're usually like 98 cents a pound, right? That's usually what they are like around here for a whole pound. But those box noodles are usually like $3 for a box. So I don't know. The more I look at this, the more I think that that Russia's probably a little more expensive, to be honest. But yeah, okay. I won't look at shorts. I'll look at regular videos. We'll look at regular videos. Like, you can change short URL. Wait, what? Am I becoming old?
Что купит девочка-студент на 100 рублей?
So what? Take that and put what? Wait, okay. So change YouTube Shorts link to default YouTube video and turn on. So what do you hit there? Watch.
Что купит девочка-студент на 100 рублей?
Thank you. Okay, I get you now. Perfect. Thanks for the help. Wait. Is this the subtitles? Did I do it in English? What's going on here?
Круассан за 19 рублей, потому что девочки очень...
What does it say? You're gonna be my personal YouTube helper, apparently. Jesus.
И мы обязательно его возьмем, потому что он стоит 14.
In settings. Where here? Oh, duh. Thank you. Auto translate to English. Let's go. All right, cool.
Что купит девочка-студент на 100 рублей? Круассан за 19 рублей, потому что девочки очень любят сладкое. И мы обязательно его возьмем, потому что он стоит 14 рублей. 365 дней, сырок за 9 рублей. Обязательно витамины. 10 рублей. Каша на завтрак. Макароны с сыром. Сырок за 15 рублей для макарон. Огурец для салата.
It's a tiny cucumber.
Продуктов на целый день вышло на 98 рублей. И на пакет, как вы поняли, не хватило. Вот так вот.
So they came up to 98 rubles for everything. Sometimes they're so messed up. I mean, to be fair, she does talk pretty quietly and there's like music and stuff, so it probably has a hard time picking her up.
Без пакета, зато с едой. А вот что я приготовила из этих продуктов. Прожить можно, ну а ты подписывайся.
Let's go look at another one. I don't know. Screw it. Okay, so she's got 10,000. Is that what she's starting with? Let's check this one out.
Может, эти лифчик померишь?
Нет. Try one twice to taste.
She's a pilot.
Вы сажаете людей на бутылку?
Итак, друзья, сегодня нашел реального полицейского и дал ей 10 тысяч рублей. Я потратил на поиски немало времени, так как не каждый сотрудник полиции готов у меня сниматься видео. Видео на канале не было 2 недели, и поэтому я создал наконец-то Инстаграм. Чтобы ты мог следить за мной, пока у меня нет видео, поэтому подпишись.
Смотрим, как вы их потратите. Как тебя зовут?
Оливия.
Сколько тебе лет? О, младший сержант. Прям угадал тебя.
Okay, what is this music going on? I don't know if I can have that. It might get me in trouble. It's like a skit? What officers would buy? Okay, yeah. This is like techno music in the background too. It's like, what are we in, like 1990 or something? What the fuck's going on? Interesting. Honestly, I don't know though. Like, with the fact that Russians make so much less than Americans, it's almost comparable, I feel like, you know? So this girl, Hannah, I said, all right, there's not Hannah. Sorry, I thought I said Hannah. Whatever the hell her name is. She's got a lot of these. It's like all her. She's got a monopoly on the shorts.
Что купит студент на 100 рублей в Табрисе?
What did I type in here? Watch.
Что купит студент на 100 рублей в Табрисе? С чего начать-то? Я боюсь, что я отсюда уеду голодная. Возьмем белок. 59 рублей. Что вы там будем дальше? 96 рублей.
А вот что у меня получилось. Подписывайся.
What the heck did I just watch?
Что купит студент на 100 рублей в Табрисе? С чего начать?
You telling me I could make videos of me just going to the grocery store with $1 and buying like 4 things and making a video on it? I will go down the road right now and go buy a banana for 6 cents and make a video on it. If it's gonna get me 2.5 million views. Huh? I mean, what the hell? I mean, shorts are weird because shorts don't actually like the views are kind of weird on it. Like, I'll go get 3 blueberries for like 3 cents, a banana. I'll go buy 2 shrimp from the seafood guy, right? Actually, that might be over budget. I might buy 1 shrimp from the seafood guy. Okay, we'll get a packet of soy sauce from the sushi guy. Okay, and I'll just put it on YouTube. What kind of world are we living in?
Что купит студент на 100 рублей в Табрисе?
Russian's a cool language, though. Russian is a cool language. I can't do it. It's like blah, 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 blah. So, man. So, is there like a number of the ratio between average cost of living and grocery prices, or average grocery prices, or something? Is there like is that called something? So, I don't know if all of you guys outside of the U.S. have seen this yet, but there is a video of a cop, and maybe we'll watch it, but there's a cop who hears an acorn fall and hit his squad patrol vehicle, and he thinks he got shot at, and so he thinks he got shot, so he falls on the ground, he starts rolling, and he unloads his entire magazine into the back of his own squad car, and there's a guy sitting in the back. By the way, too. It's insane, this video. Like, it's all over the place. People are making videos on it left and right. God. And then his other officer partner starts unloading her mag into the car, too. They're just shooting up this car because an acorn fell on the roof. Nuts. Nuts. This is Nuckin' Futz. Yeah, so, man, so 1 ruble is 1 penny. So $1 is 92 rubles. What's it been the last 5 years? Oh, at one point it was what? Dang! It would have been really good in 2022 of March to buy some rubles. Would have made some money there. I mean, actually, let's look at this. Average Russians. Wait, let's do this. Let's just average salary compared to the food prices or something like that. Do they just call it cost of living? Is that sort of what it's called? I feel like it's too broad, though. I feel like cost of living is too broad. You also like Russian Telegram channels because they post news so often about their country and gathering interesting information. Yeah, I'm sure that's interesting. To me, that sounds like propaganda. I'm not a huge fan of state-run media. Like, any media that's ran directly by the state, I typically have a bit of a problem with. That's not to say independent media is any better or is by default better. But I typically have a hard time trusting things that are state run when it comes to media. It's just me personally. I mean, like PBR, all these kinds of things are sometimes a lot of state run. But, you know, for what it's worth, as long as you understand that and take it with a grain of salt, you know, I'm sure it can be interesting. I mean, it's not to say, like, again, I don't think CNN or any of these other places are any better. And I think a lot of these mainstream media places are actually more state run than people would like to think, just kind of given where they are in the world and how they're kind of, you know, embed in politics so much. And I think we're seeing that now with YouTube and a lot of these alternative media sources. I mean, I don't know if you guys know who Tim Pool is, but he's just one example on how this guy's show is getting more viewers on a nightly basis than places like CNN. Right. So, and then we had like, what was that? CNN Plus they had like their own subscription service, and that just tanked in like a few months. They had to like scramble to recover their money on that. It was just like, I think they lost like $1 billion or something on that. I don't remember. Let's look that up. How much did CNN lose on CNN Plus? I think it was CNN Plus. How much did CNN lose on, is it CNN Plus? I think an ESPN Plus. Oh, here's okay. So they sunk $300 million into the streaming service. So maybe they lost. I doubt that. I didn't know if they had to lose more than that. Maybe it was only $300 million. That's still a lot of fucking money. Because it was very short lived. After 1 month and $300 million, CNN shutters. But these Telegram channels often posting some shocking clips from places where it happened. A lot of Ukrainians and Russians use Telegram to know about situations in their country when the war started. Wait, are you talking about Telegram like the website Telegram, or are you talking about like actual like state media on the television? Because I think Telegram is a messaging service, right? Like this? Is this what you're talking about? Okay, that would make more sense then. I thought you were talking about like actual Russians' own channels. They're hosted by the people. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of, and I think Ukraine's a pretty corrupt place. You know, I think Russia's probably corrupt. I mean, everywhere is obviously corrupt, but you know, there's going to be a lot of propaganda coming from both sides. You know, in Ukraine and in Russia. So I think a lot of, if you're trying to get actual information or have the, you know, or at least have raw content or unbiased content for you to make your own decisions on, it's going to be on places like Telegram or even on the dark web. I mean, that's the whole point of the dark web is I can't say the word, anonymity, and being anonymous, right? So you can discuss these things. You can log in your alt account so you can watch some information if you have a second monitor. I do have a second monitor. If you'd like, you can go to the Discord channel. You can send it to me there. We have a thing here. Let me just move this over. Somebody messaged me. That's it. Yeah, okay, that's scary. I can you can send it to me on Discord. Oh, you don't care that much? No, okay. No worries then. Because I don't know if it would allow you to send anything through the chat. But what the heck? Oh, so this is Telegram. Interesting. There's 3 chats. 3 chats on what? Are you talking about my Discord? Oh, you watch it in a second monitor because there'll be some 18 plus vids. Yeah. I won't watch it on stream unless it's okay to watch on stream. And if you want, you can just send it to me either on Discord or I don't know how you're gonna send it, but you can just send it. I can watch it off air too. Kind of curious. You know, when it comes to the Russian-Ukraine stuff, I'll be honest, I don't care nearly as much as what's going on our own border right now, for example. You can join, I can join you to Discord. Like your Discord? I mean, if you have the link for it, you can send it to me. I mean, if you want me, I'll just post our Discord or my channel in the, I'll just, what the hell? Oh, your English is messed up? No, it's all good, buddy. Don't worry about it. Your English is way better than my Russian or any other languages, so don't worry about it. So here's the Discord channel. Anybody can use that. It'll get you in. If you get in, you just have to go quickly to the welcome page and just read that rules quick and just check the little coffee icon, little coffee cup, and that'll give you access to the rest of the channel. Yep, I see you just dropped in. Perfect. So just go to the welcome thing, go to the coffee cup, click that, and you'll get a tab that'll give you access to everything. From there, what I will do is I will give you special permissions to get into a little side channel of mine where you can send me stuff. So just give me a second on that. I'm guessing you're the Omega 6 guy, right? Perfect. Just give me just a second here. Yeah, actually, if you want, you can just post it in the off topic. I don't know how to find your name. I don't even know how to do an Omega on my goddamn keyboard, so you're going to have to find it. So just go to off topic, hashtag off topic or general chat, and you can post stuff in there. If you want it to be more private, just let me know, and I'll have a little side channel. Oh, you're in voice? Is it in voice? So I have to listen to it in voice? I might want to do this off stream. I don't know if it's going to be... All right, I'll let you on the stream, but behave yourself. You're 16. I don't know. What's the rules on that? Also, my camera broke. Oh, my camera died. I'll be right back. Give me a sec. All right, give me a sec. What do I mean? Behave yourself? No, just don't like. You know, I don't care if you curse, but you know, I mean, I personally don't care about that, but like, more so like inappropriate stuff that's not YouTube friendly. You know, so just err on the side of caution. Otherwise, I'll boot you out because I don't want to deal with any of that. Because YouTube is a pain in the ass when it comes to shit like that. So, all right, give me a sec. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
What's going on?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am too good.
You're doing good. Awesome.
Yeah.
So is Russian your first language or is it a different language?
No. My first language is Lithuanian.
Oh, that's right. You're Lithuanian. Sorry, Lithuanian.
Yeah.
And how similar is Lithuanian to like Russian? Is it close or no?
I think not really, but we use like in Lithuanian curse words from Russia very often.
Okay. But like pronunciation, like for I know for Americans, it's really hard to learn like Asian languages because they're so different. But okay. So what do you have to show me? You were talking about some stuff.
I just want like to show you how often like Russian citizens like get information from Telegram and like that. Because like I really liked Telegram because you can get a lot of information. It's like they posting it very fast.
Gotcha. And if you want, oops.
Can share your screen. Wait.
Oh, you're gonna show me a screen on Discord?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can translate for you, like.
Yeah.
In this. Give permissions for share.
How do I do that? Let me see here.
Because I can share screen.
I set up this Discord a long time ago, so give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Let me see.
Also, I wanted like to ask, what's your channel about? Because I just joined your live stream like for fun.
Yeah, no worries, buddy. My channel. So I started it a few years ago, back in like 2020 over COVID, and I really started like doing like reaction videos to different sports and things like that of different countries, so like cricket and rugby and Australian football and that kind of stuff. And it kind of blew up with a lot of Australians. So I have a huge Australian following, and it kind of went down that rabbit hole watching their sports and things like that. And then I recently, or a couple years ago, I haven't made videos or done stuff in a couple years. I'm trying to get back into it. But I started trying to like change where I was going with it, and yeah, the channel just kind of got in a weird spot. So I haven't made stuff in a while, but I'm trying to make it more about, you know, stuff I'm interested in rather than just like reaction videos, because to me that got a little old. Here's what I might have to do. I can't figure out how to do this. So I'm going to give you a different role, and that'll give you access to a different channel, and I think that might allow you to do it.
There is like, I think, permission to share screens. Wait, I can try to check it.
Right, check it. Here, we're going to go over here for a second.
Oh, also, I think, oh, yeah, I can share.
Yeah, okay, I have a different room for that. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, wait a second. So, do you think this would be okay to share or no on screen or no?
I don't recommend.
Okay. Will do then. All right. What am I looking at here? We got.
Here's like Telegram news channel. There is almost 5 millions.
Yep.
And they are saying like they are neutral, no propaganda.
Okay.
And it's like a channel that they like post fast news. Like they're trying to get information and post it immediately.
Okay.
From different sources. So here, for example, about 15 minutes ago, like there is post about it's
US
senator, US Lindsay. And
yep.
here is like example. And they post it very frequently.
Yeah.
About.
Okay, so it's just kind of like world news, like that's uncensored.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they are like trying to get news only for like Russian. I mean, CIS countries.
Yeah. Do they censor a lot of stuff? Like I know in China they censor a lot of stuff. Does the internet?
No, they don't censor anything.
Okay. Like the internet service providers don't censor certain websites and stuff?
Oh, like Telegram, they can't really censor that. If you like try to see in Wikipedia, in Russia, Telegram they wanted to block it, but after some time they just gave up.
Sure.
But no one knows. Maybe they are tracking Telegram now because I don't know.
Yeah, because they want to see what's going on in it.
Yeah. Because it's like every Russian uses it.
Mm.
Oh,
I feel like a lot of people in Ukraine use it too. Like anybody who's seen these wars, I feel like uses Telegram a lot.
yeah. I think even these Islamic countries and
Yep.
other, yeah.
Interesting.
There's somewhere was about that.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of Telegram and I know a bit about it. I know a lot of like people who like I follow some people who are veterans of the United States military, and they cover stuff like world conflict, and they use Telegram to talk with their community just because it's less censored, and YouTube tends to not, if YouTube typically they pick a side, and then if they tend to like censor things one way or another depending on what it is, I feel like. So
Oh, also, these like Telegram channels are like private. I mean, you can go to.
Hey, E-Girl, how's it going?
How to show it? You can go to like type this, and you will find this is public channel.
Okay.
And they have this private channel because if you post some things that are not appropriate, like some gore videos, you can like look. Channel can be banned because they like terms on terms.
Yeah.
They breaking it. Yeah. So we just use private, and that's all.
Okay. Gotcha.
They post like.
So, what are your thoughts on the war right now in that area?
Like very hard to see what what Putin wants, and I don't really. I mean, I can't really say like you can be on any side because like it's you need to analyze all things, and you can't just do it by easy way. Like you need to have a lot of information that you can just easily access, and I mean you can't make a real decision.
Sure. Do you find that people in Lithuania tend to support Ukraine more, or do they tend to support Russian more, or is it kind of all across the board?
I think it's like they trying to support more Ukraine because like America supports Ukraine, and we like in NATO and Europe.
Sure.
All this thing.
Trying to be on the
the
side of America. That makes sense.
Yes, because like we are used to contact with America more.
Sure. Okay. Have you always lived in Lithuania?
Yes, I born in Lithuania.
Okay. And you said you're 16?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So high school. They call it high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Here, for example, there are some stuff about Apple Watch. Also, here I want to show. 2017, they wanted to block it because it's due to its usage by terrorists.
Sure.
But they here.
Well, I mean, there's been terrorists on Twitter for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's before Elon bought Twitter, there was you couldn't say anything you couldn't speak out against Black Lives Matter 4 years ago, but there was literally terrorists on Twitter. It was such a weird time. In America, at least. What do we have here?
Oh, it's a giveaway issue.
Here,
for example.
You getting an Apple Watch? Who beat the heck out of that lady? In Kiev, a guy found out that his girlfriend cheated on him. Club with the Turkey. No, that's not good.
Like they post this type of things.
Sure.
Like more shopping.
Gotcha.
I didn't know things. Wait. Yeah.
For those who are listening right now or do listen to this later, I'm not showing my screen because apparently there could be some stuff that's sensitive or we don't know if it should be on YouTube. But right now he's showing me his Telegram channel and translating it from Russian to English. Or is this Lithuanian? This is Lithuanian, isn't it?
It's Russian.
Oh, it's Russian. Okay, from Russian to English and kind of showing me around the Telegram stuff. I know about Telegram. I've never personally used it, but I do definitely know about it. It's almost like a more private Discord, no? Or
Like, yeah, like that. So here's like, for example, but they for some reason like unpinned in their own like, I mean, main channel
mm-hmm.
because there's like some I mean, I don't know how to say, like some like important news, like something more interesting than other news here
Yes,
as
yes.
example, and they pin this.
The,
For example,
is that Taiwan? Yeah.
yeah, it's when Taiwan was like we want to.
Do you think China will invade Taiwan?
No one, no.
What do you? I mean, the U.S. It depends. I think if they're going to do it, they need to do it soon because if Donald Trump gets elected, that's not going to happen. He will not let that happen. That's one thing. But they're shipping tanks. They're shipping tanks over there, huh? To the coast.
Yeah, yeah. Like I like this channel because they are like showing like rules of something. Like it's more like you can see like it's visual, but no one guarantees that it's like real, and you need just like to believe, and you need to compare this information from other sources.
Sure. So it's not like verified,
Yeah,
guaranteed credible, but it's just
yeah.
okay.
Here they reply this like information here.
Mm-hmm.
He replied this post.
Yeah.
And then they just and they replied to this video of tanks. Like, I mean, they trying to keep context.
Yeah.
In this post. Yeah.
What do you think about Twitter? Because I think Twitter has been more open now to free speech, right?
I think Twitter is like just
or X, whatever you want to call it.
Twitter like just I think it's just garbage because everyone can just speak any nonsense on it, and you won't find anything good. You like need to look any certain people that you know that can have some wave of their words and try to something think in your mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. I do think though, like after Elon Musk bought it, I think it's become more free speech, which does make it more garbage too, right? More free speech, more garbage, but also at least they're not censoring one side or the other, so it allows you to at least see things, which I think is good. But
yeah,
interesting.
Oh, for example, here 1 minute ago, and they
what does that say?
Post like
the BMC the UK Navy has reported a new attack by an unknown assailant on a ship off the coast of Yemen. Interesting. Bunch of pirates, maybe?
Post like maybe.
They're always attacking ships there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw E-Girl in the chat. She thinks you sound 20. 20 plus. Somali pirates? Yeah, probably. Bunch of pirates. I am the captain now. What is this? Zelensky, for the first time in history, Ukraine has achieved such global support. During this week, there are 2 security agreements with France and Germany. The Munich conference was very productive. There are many important agreements. I think Zelensky's kind of a puppet of the U.S. government, to be honest.
Maybe. Because Russia attacked and they now like Ukraine now take. I'm not sure if they take any like war supplies. I mean like tanks and other. They taking it like credit. They need to pay to them when war will end, and country will be in debt,
Mm.
and that will be not good.
Do you know what most a lot of Americans think about the war?
What?
They think that America shouldn't be concerned as much because it's halfway around the world, and then we have so many problems right now here. Like our border, our southern border with Mexico is wide open. Millions of people are just walking across every year. And we send they made a bill, right? The US government said, "All right, we're going to have a border protection bill for our border." And the bill was supposed to be for $120 billion. And only $20 billion went to the border. $60 billion of that bill goes to Ukraine. Ukraine gets 3 times the amount of money that our own country gets for its security. That's why Americans are very upset, and they think that we shouldn't be involved as much. You know what I mean? Because we have so many problems here.
I think it's like problem with priorities. You need to prioritize all things.
You need to prioritize your own home first, because if you don't prioritize your home, then you will never have a home. You know?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or you will have, but it will be like bad.
Well, do you, like, for example, if you took your front door off your house, is it still your home? Or is it? I mean, is it weird, right? Like you don't just take your doors off your house and leave them wide open.
It is, but it will be uncomfortable.
Exactly right. I mean, it's not really a home if anybody can come in and come out. It's more of just a place. But interesting. Yeah. So E-Girl says you don't know much about the war, but you have heard that the Ukrainians rejected the offer of Australian jets for them to use.
Maybe they don't really see like any point of jets.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, is Russia using jets on the ground or to attack Ukraine or no? Is it just tanks and ground fighting?
I think they use like Katyushas, like how it's called, like missiles.
Rocket launcher.
Rocket launcher. Yeah.
Okay, but no airplanes, no.
I didn't see like any video of airplanes. Right. Maybe they use them, but they often use just drones to drop grenades, and Ukraine's too uses drones.
Oh yes, I saw the drones. Yep.
Yeah.
The problem is if they start flying jets, it's World War III.
Like yeah. Yeah, because it's like very expensive, and
yeah, and America has a lot of jets. I think America probably has more jets than like most countries combined, almost, or something. I know we have more aircraft carriers than every country combined. But all right, so what is this? Israel determined to achieve a total victory over Hamas, which also means releasing hostages held in Gaza. Yeah, I mean that's going to be a long, drawn out thing. They have a lot of tunnels to clear, and
also you can see like curious emotion by like Russians
clown
like the subscribers
yeah
of channels, and you can see the reaction of anything.
Yeah,
you can compare like this and this.
Sure. So do people in Lithuania support Palestine to support Hamas?
I think they support more Israel.
Israel, yeah. You know what's weird? A lot of have you ever heard of like LGBTQ, all that stuff in America?
Yeah.
The gays, whatever. Yeah. They are all like a lot of them are very pro Hamas. And that's weird because if they lived in Palestine, they'd be thrown off of roofs, you know? It's kind of a weird thing. There's a lot of pro Palestine. Like, they were actually flying Taliban flags at a rally in Florida. Isn't that crazy? On
I
American
think
soil.
crazy thing that gays are for like pro Hamas.
Yeah, pro Hamas gay people, which is that's even what's more crazy. You know, it's like
Yeah, I think crazy that because of gender.
right.
Why
Yeah.
why gays more pro Hamas?
Yeah, it's weird because if you go, I was like
Yeah.
go to Palestine, they probably kill you, unfortunately, you know. But they're I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird
Yeah.
time in America. Nobody's got any real problems, so they just like to make stuff up. But
Oh, also, do you have like something? I, I'm how to say like where you gather like new information? What sources you use?
me, I like to
Yeah.
go on YouTube with certain people. I don't really
Mm-hmm.
watch. I don't watch like the news. You know, like on TV news.
Yeah.
I typically will follow like I like Tim Pool. I follow different conservative people on YouTube, and then I also will like it's mostly on YouTube, a lot of stuff like that. And then there's also one called Speak the Truth, and it's a couple veterans, and they follow a lot of like geopolitical conflict stuff, and I like watching that. Or I just I like to take like a broad look at a lot of different sources, just to kind of see the big picture, and then kind of base my opinions off of that. And sometimes I'll deliberately watch like mainstream news just to see what they're trying to push. Like what are they saying, right? And then you
Mm-hmm.
hear like what the reality is with people. I tend to trust things on YouTube a little bit more now, just because these are places that have been organically built up, right? If the only way a person becomes successful on YouTube is by building an audience through organic means, and people on YouTube are very quick to hate you if you're treating them bad or wrong or lying. You know what I mean? So this is why CNN does really bad on YouTube, but people like Tim Pool do really good because they tell the truth no matter what. Usually, you know what I mean, or they try to put their best foot forward. So that's my long answer to that.
Okay, I understood your position.
What is this here? Norway has mediated between Israel and Palestine to solve the problem of distributing the latter's custom revenues, some of which are withheld by the Jewish state. The kingdom's foreign policy said the parties agreed on a temporary mechanism to transfer the funds.
And I more like this Telegram channels
Yeah.
in Russia because you can like you take your phone and you can just scroll and read like new information.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I've
that's kind of cool.
yeah, I've definitely heard people talk about Telegram. They say they like Telegram. I've never personally used it, but I might have to check it out. And anybody can make a Telegram channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know like a lot of, like I was telling you before, how one of the people I follow does like geopolitical conflict. They use Telegram because a lot of the other platforms, if you were to talk about what they're talking about or show or share videos, because some of the videos can be pretty graphic, right, of war, right, people getting hurt and stuff. And they do that on Telegram because it's not censored, right? So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Also, I really like this site because it's like, I mean, it's now have a little bit outdated information, but you can like
What are we?
see, for example, you just Google Chrome, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, and this like site collecting information and saying why the application is spyware and why it isn't. And for example,
Yeah.
we like reverse engineering the program and looking what data is sending to servers.
It's pretty much like
So,
a broken down summary of the terms and conditions of Discord.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Like, yeah. For example, what
What they collect and everything.
collect, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is interesting.
Process logger is used for like games. If you play, they can show in your status.
Oh yeah, like data loggers and okay. Uses process
So
logger.
there, this feature and others like. Also, we're talking about phone number verification because it's still like making it less privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Interesting.
there's more information interesting. And here's sources, and yeah.
Okay.
They are also using web archive because if site will be deleted or something, we can just
Oh, it's
like
archive
you
of
can
everything.
see archive. Yeah, yeah.
What is the website called? Privacy World?
Yeah. privacyworld.newcities.org.
Huh.
And articles in type, I think. Yeah, articles
Okay, interesting.
you can watch. But I think it's only about applications, not hell, Telegram. I think they not rated it because of telephone number.
Mm,
Because you need the telephone number to register account.
yeah. I mean, anybody can get a telephone number nowadays, but
Also, they are using like private servers and
right. Where are the servers located? In America or outside the country?
in Dubai, I think.
Dubai, okay.
Because now Pavel Durov, the creator of Telegram, lives in Dubai.
Okay. Your English is pretty good, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. It's way better than any other language I speak.
I speak Lithuanian, English, and Russian.
Nice. I speak English and a little bit of Spanish. ¿Cómo te llama?
Sí.
Fair enough. Okay, so they have servers all over the world, it looks like.
Yeah, but Netherlands like a lot.
Sure.
Oh, we got a list from official channel. I mean, site. Oh, you need to download.
I mean, I feel like I could share this, right? This isn't bad.
Maybe.
Maybe. Hey, I think it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, right?
Yeah, but I don't think there is something bad in this channel.
Well, now you're scrolling through to find something. I'm just kidding. You're good. There was a squirrel and a donut, or whatever the hell that was. What is that?
It's capybara.
Yeah, capybara. Those are in Australia. They have those, I think, right?
Hey, we made it.
What is this? Venezuela? They eat them during Lent because the Vatican Church recognizes them as fish. What? I don't know if that's true. Hold on, because I'm not baptized yet, but I went to mass yesterday. Okay, I go to Catholic church sometimes. What? Hold on a second. Let's look this story up, buddy, because I'm curious. Does the Vatican? I can't type. How do you spell capybara? I'm just winging it. Capybara fish. What is this? I'm going to have to talk to Father this week and ask him about this. It's a guinea pig. It's not. What do you mean? Bear is most definitely a fish according to the Vatican. Capybara is one of the world's largest rodents native to South America, though you might not think that because of their shape. Capybaras are excellent swimmers and appear to enjoy time in the water. They can hold their breath underwater for about 5 minutes. Take naps along. They're like beavers, basically. Okay. The Vatican granted the request, and the rodent was given the status of fish. Let's follow this. It's not even. It's red meat, pretty much. It's like pork. Looks like. I would have to actually find where the like on the Vatican or on some Catholic doctrine talking about this because that is weird. They aren't the only animal. Oh, it says beavers also fit into the things that the Vatican calls fish. I've never heard of a Catholic eating a beaver for Lent. Okay, they're gonna go get some fish. That's so crazy, dude. Never heard of that. In a letter response, the Catholic Church agreed to the proposal, and the capybara has become a welcome addition to many Lenten dinner tables. It actually tastes more like fish than meat because they feed mostly on aquatic grasses. What the hell? That's nuts. And they put a donut around them. I mean, they're basically like they're big guinea pigs, huh?
Yeah. It's like biggest guinea pigs in the world, I think.
Oh my goodness. Next thing they're gonna say, like a seal is a fish or something.
Yes.
So this is the Telegram. What is this? An oil pipeline? I'm pretty sure Putin was blaming the CIA, America's CIA, for blowing up their oil pipeline. German officials accidentally disclosed secret information about 2 NATO submarine activities in the Baltic Sea during the construction of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. According to the newspaper, employees of the mining department of the city of Stralsund, who, among others, were responsible for issuing permits for the construction of the pipeline, published on the internet a decree on the construction of the Nord 2 pipeline, which turned out later contained data on the areas of operation of NATO submarines and the number of weapons on them. Those responsible for the leak can face up to 5 years in prison. Huh. Yeah, that's a weird situation. So you got the people building the pipeline basically ended up giving away where some of these NATO submarines were. What are we watching now? What is this? Another 100 years, 100 billion. What is DeepL? DeepL is like a better translator than Google, or what?
It uses machine learning to translate. It's like try to get
Estonian Prime Minister
context.
Kaja Kallas. I knew an Estonian girl once. Estonians are kind of hot.
We can try to compare, like.
What's better looking at, Lithuanian women or Latvian women or Estonian women?
I think they look same because it's Baltic.
Fair enough. I knew a Latvian girl too. She was really cute. She lived in America.
Let's
see.
Oh, you can see like military assistance and if you're military aid.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting. I mean, Russia is not going to have Ukraine become part of NATO and all. Like he's made that very clear. He wants NATO the hell out of there. I mean, he tried to join NATO. He asked NATO if he could join NATO. I think back in the Bush administration, and they said no. And now they're trying to push.
I heard like Russia attacked because in Ukraine they built some. I don't remember, like bases near the walls with Russia, and because of that he attacked or something like that. I hear it from people. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. My problem is the fact that, at least from my perspective, like you live really close. You live right next to Russia. I live thousands of miles away. You know what I mean? Like most Americans will never even see that area. Or
Not really. I live like next to Kaliningrad.
No, but I'm saying like compared, like you live.
Yeah.
It would be like America or like me going to Canada. Like that's probably how far away it is or something. You know what I mean? From where I am. So, but the problem is, America pays for most of NATO. Like NATO, the other countries in NATO, they don't pay like anything. America pays for everything. And then it's just it's most Americans are struggling at home and we're not taking care of our own country here. But we're paying for the rest of the world, It's frustrating.
But I think America, like every time was like that because America wants to be in every like corner
Well, it's not
If
actually.
something happens, they tries to be in that
No,
station.
before World War II, before 1940, we were not like that at all.
Because that was hard time.
Right. So I'm saying it's less than 100 years. America's been like this, right? It's only in 80 years. I mean, my grandma's almost 80. You know, it's within her lifetime, pretty much. Like it's changed, and it's
Because
only gotten
priorities
worse.
was others.
Yeah. No, and I get. Like, I'm not saying we shouldn't have helped in World War II. Obviously, I think we should have. You know, and I'm glad we did. But it became money, right? Because even like Korea was kind of necessary, but Vietnam, Americans were very upset about that. I mean, there's a whole thing about Americans, the veterans that came back after Vietnam. Americans were very mad at them. It was a very controversial thing. Americans did not want to be in Vietnam at all. And then from there, after 9/11, actually, I would say 9/11 was the real thing for us. Once 9/11 hit, they spied on every American. They locked everything down, and we went to war with the world. We called it a war on terror, but we basically put our military everywhere after 9/11 was the big thing.
Like paranoia.
Paranoia, yeah. Paranoia allowed us to have the biggest military in the world and basically be the world police, if you will. And I think there's good and bad to that. But the bad thing, I think it's fine. But if you can't take care of your own home, like if we can't take care of our own country, then something's wrong. Like we need to take care of us first. Then we can take care of everybody else and help everybody else. But priority number one should be you and your family. And I think as for you're a country, that means your country, right? You know, that's the only purpose of the government should be to protect its own citizens. That should be the only purpose of government. When the founding fathers created this country, they wanted a small, limited government, and the sole purpose of the government was to protect its citizens from outside tyrannical forces, and then we protect ourselves from inside tyrannical forces. This is why we're allowed to have guns. I have several guns for that reason.
But I think you can get some, like, if you know what you're doing, you can, like, come back this money. Like, if you help someone, you will get this money, like, triple the amount, because you helped in the right moment. And maybe someone can, other countries will help you because you help them.
Yeah, they don't help. They don't help American citizens though. They help the American government. So the average
but American government is like equal citizen because, like, I mean, money.
But the government doesn't give the money it makes to the people. That's the problem.
Yeah, but they use this money to make something for people.
No, they don't. That's the problem. They don't.
They should invest to some.
I agree. That's my point. Is like, for example, when Congress, because we pay for it, the government doesn't pay for it. Americans pay for it with taxes. So any money the government makes, we pay for it. We like the $100 billion we gave to Ukraine, that was paid for by U.S. citizens, not the government. The U.S. citizens paid for that, right? Through our taxes. So the problem is when you do that kind of stuff, when you start giving 10, 20 times the amount of money that we pay for, like we're giving money to the government and then the government gives that money to Ukraine. And Americans are saying, we gave you our money. We want you to use that money on us. We want you to secure our border. We want you to fix our roads. We want you to have more manufacturing and production inside the country so that we can make up things in America and not be so reliant on other things. But the government doesn't do that. They take all of our money and they give it away to a country that most people don't even know where it is on a map. In America, most people don't know where Ukraine is on a map. But we've given them more money over the last 4 years or 2 years than our own citizens by a lot, by like a heck of a lot. And they do it and they're sneaky about it. And this is what makes Americans mad, is because they try to hide it, because they try to be sneaky about it. And so, and the one example I gave earlier was when America just passed a border bill. It's called the border bill. And they call it that because they want us to think that the bill is to secure our own border, the southern border with Mexico. There's millions of people just walking across it right now. So they created a bill. They said, we're going to put, it's a $160 billion bill, and it's to protect the U.S. border. If you dive into that bill, half of the money goes to Ukraine. Half of it goes to Ukraine, and only about maybe 12 or 15% of it goes to our own border. all the rest of the money goes to Ukraine. Like that's why Americans are mad, because we're giving all of our money to a country that most people don't even know where it is, and we're lying about what we're doing with it and trying to pretend like we're helping our own citizens, and we're not. And that's why Americans are really upset with a lot of them are just tired of it. They want America out of the war because we're spending all of our money on it. It's become America's biggest money laundering country ever. And that's the sentiment in America. That's what people think in America, at least, because we're struggling so much right now with our own border and with our own immigration issues, or illegal immigration issues, that they won't do anything about it, but we'll give all the money away to another country. That's where people get mad.
I think like the people why they mad because it was called wall bill or how it is, and they just put half of money to Ukraine.
Yeah.
That's not very like good, because people like I think they try to hide it, and
Yeah, exactly.
that's not good.
Yeah, they hide it. And the problem is, like, a lot of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. I mean, we have a lot. We're if you live here and you make a decent amount, like, you're better than a lot of people in the world, of course. But a lot of Americans, I don't know the exact number, I'd say maybe half or more, live paycheck to paycheck. That means they rely on their next paycheck to be able to live, buy their food, and pay their bills. They don't have excess money. And
To be
when
honest, Russians too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. So when that happens, and then those same people, they watch their groceries double in price. They watch illegal immigrants by the millions come flood into their state that don't pay taxes, and then their taxes go up to pay for these people's houses. And then all the money that they give to the government in those taxes, they hope that, oh my gosh, maybe the government will actually do something and protect us from what's going on. Maybe they'll help us get better, get inflation down, or protect us against the illegal immigration. But instead they give that money to Ukraine. And so Americans are just mad. They're sick of it. You know what I mean? Their country is getting invaded. Nobody is doing anything about it. And all the money that they're giving to solve these problems is just going to Ukraine. So Americans are getting really fed up with it. You know what I mean? And that's what and people are just like, let's take care of our home first. If the border was secure and people had a great, decent, cost of living and things were a lot different, inflation was down and interest rates were good and everybody was a lot more happy in that sense, people would have less of an issue with Ukraine. People would have less of an issue with the Israel-Hamas conflict, the U.S. getting involved. But the problem is there's so many issues at home right now, and there has been since 2020, that we need to focus on us first, and then we can help. You know what I mean? And I think every country should do that. Like, I think if all of a sudden people, like, let's say people from Somalia started flooding into Lithuania by the millions, and you guys didn't do anything about it, your people would be upset, right? Lithuanians would be upset. Because it's like, no, we need to take care of our home first, then we can help other people, right? So that's kind of where we're at. And the only reason I say Somalia is because that there's a huge influx of Somalians moving out of Somalia to America, especially in the Midwest and the Minneapolis. It's a huge thing. But
so, like, to me, it seems like in Russia it's like two, but they pay like big taxes to promote war, and they can't do anything because we need to buy something, and when you buy something, you too like pay for taxes to government, and people know that war will begin, but like they don't have any hope that something will change, because every time the president is Putin, and
well, it's communist. That's the difference between communism and capitalism. You know what I mean? That's a fundamental difference.
Yeah.
And
But the problem is same. They can't really do anything. Prices go up, and they just need to live from salary to salary.
Right. I mean, in America, the problem is the reason we're having these issues in America is not because of capitalism. I mean, capitalism is probably the only thing that's holding our country together anymore, because the government is getting so involved that it's not even really that capitalistic anymore, right? So because the government likes to stick their fingers in everything, true capitalism, the government stays out of most things. They back off. You know what I mean? They let the free markets decide, right? If your prices are too high, there's another company that's going to jump in there and lower the prices, and you're going to be out of business. So you have to have the best prices and the best products to compete. That's capitalism. But when the government steps in and starts bailing out businesses, right? Businesses that should fail because they suck at what they do, they should fail and they should be replaced by other better businesses. When the government bails those people out, when the government gives free money away to keep businesses in business, this is a good example is the auto industries and the airline industries. And when the government gets so heavily involved in regulation of business, it handcuffs capitalism. It puts handcuffs on capitalism. It makes it harder for the free market to thrive. And the most handcuffed version of the economy is something like communism or socialism, right? Where the government has full control and regulation over everything. America was always built off the idea that government should have next to no interference with what's going on in the country outside of protecting people's life, and this is in this order: life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Meaning their sole job is to protect your life, your liberty, and your pursuit of happiness. Nothing else. That was the idea of the American government when it was founded. But it's gotten so out of that. It's just weird.
Yeah, with time, like it's a lot of changes. Like I mean, how to say, like boundaries are being like washed away
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
original beginning, like what we wanted.
Yeah. Or even like culture. Culture is being eroded and washed away. And I think culture is very important. If you don't have a culture, you don't have a country. Right? Every country has its culture, it has its ideas and things that unify it. You have to be unified through a culture if you want to have a country and a civilization that's going to thrive. And cultures can be different from one another, right? Lithuanian culture doesn't have to be the same as an Irish culture or a US culture or a Russian culture. They can be different, but there has to be something that unites everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's eroding. At least in America, we're losing our culture. I mean, we used to pride ourselves on being, free speech, free thinkers, innovation, capitalism, new ideas, just like trying the American dream, right? But that culture has been so eroded because we're just trying to please everybody. You know what I mean? And we're too afraid to speak out nowadays. It's just a weird time. I'm 33 years old, or I'm 32 years old. I'm turning 33 soon. So I grew up in the 90s, right? I was a kid in the 90s and early 2000s. So when the internet first got started, I was there, right? I remember in school before the internet was a thing. And it's insane how things have changed, just even in the last 15 years, right? So almost since you were born, how crazy things have changed. Like between the 70s and the 2000s versus the 2000s and today, it's like exponentially more change, It's weird.
Yeah, but it's like logical because like life is going in like singularity because when you found out something, you found out it something new like 2 times faster or like something like that.
Yeah,
And
well, with the
changes
internet's technology, yeah.
faster, yeah.
Well, for the
Because
first
now
time,
AI and all things.
yeah, AI is crazy. But like I remember when Israel first invaded Palestine to take out Hamas, right, a few months ago, there was live streams of it. You know what I mean? Like the first time in history we're live streaming war. Could you imagine World War II live streaming World War? Could you imagine? It's insane. Like no, to think about that. That's even possible. That we can have cameras on the other side of the world, and I can sit here in the comfort of my apartment in America, in Texas, and watch a war live in a different country. That's insane to think about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a different time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what time is it in Lithuania? I'm going to guess. Let me guess. It is 6 a.m. Oh, you have it right there. I didn't even see that. Sorry. So, oh, it's midnight. It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's 12:15. Okay.
I think it's like Moscow time, but +1.
Okay. Because it is 4:15 p.m.
Hmm.
Sunday. So, well, hey, I mean, it was good talking to you, buddy. I'm gonna probably jump off here because I got to go eat some food and stuff, and then I'll probably jump back on later. But I had a really good conversation with you. I honestly, maybe we'll do more stuff like this on the channel of talking to different people. I love having discussions with people from different parts of the world, getting their views on things and learning. I really do. This is one of my favorite things to do. So thank you. What's your name again?
My name, John.
John. Okay. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
It was a good time. So subscribe and come back and maybe we can have another conversation sometime. All right.
Yeah, okay. Wait, can you turn off second screen? I want to show like a quick joke.
Yeah. Your screen's not being shown on stream.
Okay. You see?
Yeah.
My screen, yeah?
Yeah. What is that? Is that the Zelda? No.
No, that's not about it.
Okay. I'm looking. Okay. What is your profile picture? That's weird.
Wait. To check all of this.
Is that tree the Zelda tree? What is that?
No, that's like what's a meme of magical tree.
Oh, okay. It looks familiar.
Oh.
Were you violating Twitch? What do you...
And YouTube too.
Is this you?
Yeah.
Are you banned
Like-
off of everything?
Not really.
Are these all yours?
Not really.
Well, I'm not going to tell on you. It's not showing anything.
I mean, I'm like programming with like Russian people with different stuff. Like,
Why are you banned from
Oh.
Twitch?
I don't know. I landed account.
You lended an
Okay.
account?
Yeah. Also, I wanted like to ask what you think about torrents.
About what?
Torrents. You know what is torrent?
Pardon?
Piracy, torrent.
Torrents.
Yeah, you know torrent.
Yes, I know torrents. Dude, I grew up on LimeWire and what the fuck,
Yeah.
Netscape, where the fuck it was. I know what torrents are. I
Yeah.
was torrenting songs before the internet, right? I was like, or not before the internet, but that's how we downloaded music in the early days. It was torrents on LimeWire. I screwed up my computer so many times downloading music off LimeWire.
So what do you think like now about piracy? I want.
I think it's interesting. I've had friends with Plex servers before who've torrented a lot of material and have a lot of like big databases of stuff. I personally don't get involved with torrents with stuff just because I don't have a big need for it. But I do like I'm a big open source guy, public sharing of things. At the same time, I do see it being a problem for copyright issues and things like that. But I'm never one to like I'm not gonna like report anybody or do anything like that. I mean, it's just. I think the last time I torrented something was probably like 20 years ago. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think now in America, torrent like is like not legal, or it is.
Well, it depends on what you're torrenting. I mean, like the problem is in America, we have very strict copyright laws, right? So if you're trying to torrent like songs, well, that artist owns that song. And if you're taking it, you can get in trouble for that. I mean, it's hard to track, but like especially with movies, like Hollywood, they take that shit very seriously.
Yeah, because that is like business.
Exactly.
Big business.
Exactly. So,
So like just citizens don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I watch like certain live streams of sports and things from people's torrents and things in certain times, but if I can't get access to it. You know, I know some people that can hook me up with things.
Hmm.
Why? What are your thoughts?
I I don't really like copyright stuff.
You don't care if it's copyrighted. You're like, fuck it. I'm
Yeah,
doing
yeah, I don't really care about it.
it. Sure. The Lithuanian government's not going to come kick your door in.
I mean, if you have good software, you need to protect the good, and
Yeah.
or if you like software, you can just buy because you want to support creator. I mean, it depends about. It depends on you, on your how it's called. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah. Translator.
It will be on your
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Morals or conscience. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Because
mean,
if you like that, you will buy a game. For example, a lot of people just pirated Minecraft and they later buy a license
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
because they wanted to play on Hypixel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. That makes sense. I mean, for example, I have my own laptop, and on it, I have an instance of Tails Linux on a USB drive that I can use that to run Tails off of, and through that, I'm basically running through the dark web, and everything's anonymous. So, I mean, if I wanted to torrent stuff, you could do it completely, or as anonymous as most people can get. You know what I mean? Through like a system like Tails Linux. Do you ever heard of Tails Linux?
Yeah, I know. You can install it USB and then just turn off it, and it will like erase all that data.
Erase the data, randomize MAC addresses.
Yeah,
You're running through multiple nodes on the dark web, and yeah, so it's a lot more.
Oh, also,
anonymous.
you know that like feds are made a lot of nodes in Tor, and they like tracking the data.
Yeah,
And they try to track. That's like embarrassing.
like little Trojan horses.
No, I mean like nodes when you connect in Tor browser, you use Tor connections. It uses free nodes, and these nodes are hosted by like anyone. And feds are hosting these nodes, and if you get free fed nodes, you can get tracked.
Yeah. So they're acting as dark web nodes, and they're getting okay.
Yeah. They are like they are same nodes, but they are tracking information.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's how Snowden got all of his WikiLeaks stuff out, was through that the dark web, chat rooms and stuff.
Also, if you want to hide from ISP that you're using Tor, you need like a VPN. Also, Mulvad is pretty like good VPN. I mean, it's like the one that you can trust.
Right.
But there's like no guarantee that it won't leak anything.
Yeah. Usually I don't use both at the same time. I don't use Tails a lot. I've only used it for playing around with stuff, like just doing some fun
like
stuff.
Like Linux.
Yeah, just to play around and do some minor coding on it. But if I'm just using the internet, I usually use a VPN if I'm like browsing on sites. But I usually use multi-hop, so I'll have it hop to 2 different servers before it connects to the source, just to have one extra layer there. But
what VPN are you using?
Private internet access. I might switch. I'm not sure. It's all right.
I guess.
So, well, all right, John. I'm gonna jump off, buddy. But it was super cool chatting with you. Let's do it again. You're on Discord now, so every time I go live or I post a video or something, it pops up on my Discord, so you can always get a notification there. But
yeah, so you can just join in your server, and I will join if I will see you.
Sure. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
So, goodbye.
Good talking with you.
Day.
Yes, you have a good day as well. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye. All right. That was fun. We got to meet a friend, guys. Look at that. We got to meet a friend. So sweet. All right, like I said, I'm probably going to jump off here for a little while. I got to go eat some food and stretch the legs a bit. But I'm actually excited because I'm probably going to try and do some editing on that video or the live stream we just did and maybe put out a couple videos on it. We had a really good conversation with John. Learned some stuff, got some perspectives. I love having these conversations, so maybe we'll do more of that. That was fun. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you're having a great day. Peace, love, and we will talk to you later. Bye.